Welcome back to episode 4 of the Off the Rails podcast. I'm already dying laughing. I got a special guest with me today. We're not going to introduce him yet. He's not that special, but
I don't feel like it.
oh, they can still hear you. So you could interjected and just been like, "I am very no." But we've got Mark Cocca with us today.
How we doing?
Doing good. Doing real good. How are you doing?
Good. I'm doing all right.
Good.
Hanging in there.
But before we dive into what could be the longest OTR podcast of ever, we've only had 4, so I mean the bar's high, but we've got some room. So
yeah, Cam actually told me, she's like, "You're lucky number's 4." And I was like, solid.
Yeah, it could go pretty. We'll see.
I'm down. Let's do
But
it.
before we get going, got to announce our giveaway 3 winner. Yeah, because we did. This is future Caleb here, editor Caleb, whatever you want to call me. I'm wearing something different if you're watching on YouTube, so how you doing? But congratulations to Jessica Nelson from Mayville, Wisconsin on winning our G's Custom Lures giveaway. I've got your email here, so I will send you an email and get your shipping info. Congratulations, and for info on Mark's $100 auto detailing giveaway, get your car clean for free, guys. Come on. You're going to want to follow our link on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. There's going to be a giveaway link there for about a week that you can get in, sign up for that, and try to win that. Thank you. Now, Mark said he does have a giveaway for everyone for episode 4. Or no, hold on. We got to completely restart. This was last episode's giveaway. We're not restarting. Keep it in there. We gave away G's Custom Lures $25 gift bag. He gave that to one of you guys. Congratulations. We'll know who that is in the near future. Mark, what are you giving away to him?
I'm going to put up a $100 gift certificate for detailing, so you can get your car clean.
Cool. And, everyone's probably thinking, well, why is he giving away a detailing card? It's because you do your own.
No, that would make sense. Oh, so it's because I actually own my own detail shop.
Yeah.
You get your car cleaned by me and all my guys, and we'll get you taken care of.
Yeah, tell us a little bit about that. What
Sure.
all services
So
do
we
you offer?
started in actually 2017. We started my senior summer, right out of high school, and I only had a couple guys with me. Blake Cooper was one of them. He had helped me kind of on the side, and it was more of like a side gig at first, and then it really started to pick up traction, like 2018 summer. Mm-hmm. And it just went nuts. I had a guy text me one time. He wanted his H1 Hummer done, and it was like matte green, like straight out of like the battlefields. I was like, "There's no clear code."
Who was it? Was it Adam?
No, it was. I think it was George.
Okay.
But he also wanted me to sell his house too.
We'll see. We'll get into that too.
We'll get into that.
What don't you do, sir?
That's a whole story. That's a whole story to that one.
So Mark has his own detailing shop. He's a realtor. He's doing all kinds of stuff. So we're gonna have a pretty interesting podcast today. I think we'll make this one last a little while, one way or another. We'll see what happens. I gotta leave at 5 though, so
gotta do pictures.
Ooh,
go do the pictures.
But I gotta go do pictures. But Mark did bring us a gift.
I did.
Thank you, Mark.
Cheers.
It can be whatever you want. If you're watching, it's apple juice. If you're on Spotify, it's whatever you want it to be.
There you go.
Thank you.
You're
Thank you
welcome.
for the kind gift.
I was late for it, so
Well,
I had to make up.
made it worth it, right?
Sure.
But tell us a little bit about how you got started with the detailing. And you said you had a few guys start with you. But was that kind of your first business endeavor, or was that something you started just? Did you learn a lot about business doing it as well? That's like 3 questions, but take it
No,
away.
you're okay. No, for sure. I learned a ton of stuff. I mean, I still do detailing, obviously. I still have the garage today. And it's just a little 2-car garage, but it works for what it is. And, the amount of business that I do get, it's perfect for. The only thing I really can't fit in the shop is semis. So, unless which I actually do have somebody coming with a semi on Saturday. So I'm still trying to figure that one out. But no, I've learned a ton. I've learned an absolute ton, and just business in general, and doing the books, and because I've done it all. I've done the books, I've done the cost expenses, I've done the revenues, I've done the gross net. I mean, everything has been done by me. So, and we're looking to turn it into a LLC this summer, hopefully, instead of a sole proprietorship.
Yeah, and same thing. I mean, I've got the same kind of thing going on here. We're sole proprietors still, but we're looking at that. I don't think people understand. When you're starting a business, especially if you don't have the money up front to like pay a bunch of people and get started, you learn a lot. I mean, you're learning every role. You're the manager. You're the accountant.
It's even more
on the
important when the
ground.
money's coming out of your pocket. Too.
Right.
And then you see it fly fast, and it's gone, and then you're like, wow. I'm like, all right, now I need another detail, and then it don't come for a while.
Yeah. Well, that's like, how has this year affected? Has it done better, worse with everything going on this past year?
Honestly, this past year has been, I mean, nuts, obviously for everybody, but business boomed in every single aspect.
Do you think it was stimulus money? You think they were like,
I don't know. I mean, I feel like that helped a lot of people. I hope it helped a lot of people, but no, business boomed. I mean, I sold like 3 or 4 houses, and it was in all of the same month back in the summer, and I was just like, this is nuts. And then I had people coming in with cars. I actually had a contract with Cambridge Truck, and we do their lots with all the trucks on there and everything. We do like basic washes and cleanouts and everything. And they were keeping me busy with like 5-6 trucks a week. So Nick Lehman's a good buddy of mine, and he keeps a lot of business for me.
Right. And you might have noticed, if you're watching on video, if you're not, go watch the video. It helps on YouTube.
Please.
We're looking a little more snazzy than usual.
That's right. We had to step this one up a little bit.
So we went all out for you guys. So make sure you hit subscribe or whatever you're doing. I don't know. It's Apple Podcasts. Give us a 5-star rating, whatever it is. Make sure also, one more tag before we really dive in, use the hashtag OTR podcast on any of your social media platforms, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. That'd probably be a good one because we're on there at OTR.pod. But someone that uses that hashtag this month, we're going to go through there, look at everything. You're going to win a $50 steak and ale gift card. So take the lady out, take the kids out, whatever you want. Mark could win it. If
I feel like that's really cheesy.
It's anti-competitive or conflict of interest.
There you go.
That's what I'm looking for.
There you go.
Throw around. We're wearing the suits. We got to throw around business terms.
I was going to say not those little light terms or anything, but
no. But yeah. So you started. You got through. This year's been interesting for us too. It's been more. So I like to say it's almost been consistent with 2019, but like we're not doing anything we did in 2019.
No. I mean, we had to change everything we really did on like the inside for like disinfecting and stuff.
Yeah.
Had to be like, you had to disinfect. I mean, we already did anyway, so it didn't really necessarily matter, but they wanted like new cleaning products like added to the arsenal, and like I actually had people coming in that had allergies that could only do like eco-friendly stuff. And so I had to change out my entire like regimen of products that I used and go like totally eco-friendly. And I already had a bunch that were like biodegradable and things like that don't hurt because they all roll down the driveway anyway. But no, I had to change out a lot of stuff. From 2019 to 2020, it was just, I mean, and I still can't believe how business boomed.
Yeah.
And I still can't believe how many cars and everything that I had coming in and out of the driveway. I mean, it was like rapid. I mean, it was just one after the other. Like one would leave and the other one was coming right down the street. And I was like, I'm going to need another hand. Yeah. I was like, I can't do all this. I mean, I was washing, I was doing the inside and everything. I was getting them in and out. But, a true detail, whether you go with a basic pack or the most extensive pack, it's a good 4 hours. Whether you do the lowest or the top. I mean, I don't care if you're just starting out or something or whatever.
Right.
But you have to, it's extensive. That's what detailing is, It's all the little stuff.
Yep. And so so you have employees now, or are they more independent? Is it more just kind of ragtag, here's some money kind of thing? Maybe we shouldn't get into your taxes, but so basically what I'm trying to say is like, do you have people that work with you now and are kind of like your go-to guys for that kind of stuff?
Yeah, so I actually have, shout out Jared Ludwig. He keeps me busy. But no, he helps me a lot. That's my main employee. He's great. He drives his own little BMW, and it's ceramic coated. We did it all up for him. We got him taken care of, and he's really good. And he's only 16.
Okay.
So and he's got a great work ethic.
Right. Yeah. And so you said ceramic coating. What is like if it's your first time coming to get a detail? Like for example, me, I've never got one. I told you I'm going to get one. I promise I'm going to get one. Maybe I'll win the $100 gift card on my own podcast. No, but tell us like what's something someone doesn't necessarily know about detailing. Maybe they just clean their own car or whatever. What's something that makes it worth their time and worth their while?
Sure. So I have a lot of people that come in and they're like, listen, I just need it like wiped. I'm like, all right, cool. Like we can do that for like $75 or whatever. They mix and match.
Yeah.
But if you want, like, you have we did a one-off of like a GT350 that came in. It was a 2019. It was one of 3,800 built for that year, and the guy wanted it, wax sealed, everything, the whole shebang. So, and he spent a nice little chunk of change, but the car, was protected now. He puts it in storage, but the car was protected now for over a year and a half, and he didn't have to do anything to it. He could take it to the car wash, spray it off, and he could leave. There was no water spots, and then nothing would happen because we put on that ceramic gel that we use. And that's actually the one step below our highest package because we have a Nano ceramic package that actually acts as
like nanobots.
Yeah, well, no, not quite. No, I said yeah, but I didn't mean it. But no, it's what it is it's a 9H hardening agent that's in the ceramic, and what happens is it basically makes an overlay of the entire paint.
Yeah,
almost puts like a plastic shield over it. Is what it kind of hardens into. I don't know if you've ever used like epoxy or anything, but if you mix the two parts and then it hardens, basically the same thing.
Okay.
When this reacts with the air and the paint and the temperature, everything kind of mixed together, kind of makes it hard.
Okay.
And then once you actually get to wiping it off is when you'll get the shine and everything and the beading effect and all that stuff. So it kind of just depends on what you want to go with. Like whether, you just need a basic cleaning from the kids or if you want to protect that one of 3,900 GT350s.
Right. And I think going back to how this year's been just so weird, for us, 2019 was a lot of highlights, a lot of weddings. Well, this year, not really a lot. I mean, we've had a few weddings here and there.
Right.
For the most part, we haven't had very many weddings. But, we kind of converted into, well, now we're doing live streaming. So we're doing so much live streaming that it's making up for the weddings, up for the highlights and everything that we're not really doing as much. But the good thing with it is I don't think it's going anywhere.
No.
Right.
I mean, with the way that everything's going right now, the Zoom calls and all the Teams meetings and everything. I mean, I go to Muskingum and I'm we're in our last semester and we're doing most of it online.
Right.
So
and
it's like,
how's that? So it is all online. That's where I was going. Yeah.
Yes and no.
A little bit in class.
So we actually had to get COVID tests to even go back to campus.
Okay.
So and it was mandatory. I went and sat for 3 hours at that Cambridge Healthplex.
Is it that
urgent
the one
care
right?
Yes, the one right outside Walmart, and it said COVID-19 testing. I was like, all right. I was like, I don't have any symptoms, so I'll go inside. And it just sucked because at the time my phone was getting fixed. I had to get a new screen.
Yeah.
And I didn't have my phone on me, so I left it at PC Solutions, which is right up the street. And I ran over to get my test. And so I went in and I was like, hi, I'm here for a COVID test, whatever. And a lady looks at me and she was like, do you have any symptoms? And I was like, no. I was like, we're good. I was like, we're solid there. I was like, I just have to come and get a test because my college is making me. She's like, all right, that's cool. It's fine. She's like, go wait in your car. I'll call you. I was like, I was like, well, you can't. I was like, I don't have my phone because I'm getting a new screen put on it literally right now. And she was like, go wait in the hallway. I was like, what are you, my principal? And so I went and waited in the hallway, which is directly next to the door, and froze my rear end off for literally 3 hours. It was that day that was freezing.
Yeah.
Like 25 degrees was the high for the day. Like the thinnest sweats I own and probably like a t-shirt because I thought I was going to be in and out in 15 minutes.
Right.
Like take you out back.
It's called
swab.
urgent care.
That's what that and they swab your nose and you're in and out in 15 minutes. I sat there for 3 hours.
That's rough.
I got in there at 11. I didn't leave till 2 o'clock.
Yeah. See, luckily I haven't had to get tested or anything yet. I'm doing my best not to.
I kind of went off on a tangent there about COVID, but I know you asked me about school.
Well, yeah. So about COVID in school. No, but I was thinking, do they have an app that you have to like?
Yeah, so we have the Muskie Safe app.
Yeah, what do you think about that?
Garbage. It's all garbage. I mean, you can lie about it. You can literally just say like, "Yep, I'm fine. I'm fine. I'm fine."
And that's what
okay, but are you?
I've seen. And this goes into a whole nother conversation of like technology and tracking and all the so much to unpack. But yeah, right. But I know a lot of schools.
You could go forever.
A lot of schools are doing this with the check in, make sure you're fine.
And now they're telling us that like anytime throughout the semester we could be randomly tested.
Right.
And I'm like, I don't know if you can do that.
Yeah.
That's a little iffy.
I mean, I'm sure you signed the contract somewhere in your toy. Like,
there was some pledge that they said we signed, and it was like, you agreed to this. And I was
Right.
like, all right, well, that's fine. I was like, but you're not just going to be like,
right.
a dictator.
I mean,
to
what are
me.
you going to do? Come stick it in my arm or my nose or whatever?
Well, the only problem is I'm afraid they'll withhold my diploma. That's the only like big issue.
Right.
But no,
Yeah.
everything else
You got
fine.
your own business. Yeah.
No, we're fine. We'll be all right.
But that's what's so interesting is, what are we giving up to have like this like air quote safety?
And it's like when they did my COVID test at that healthplex, I went inside, sat inside the whole time, but they swabbed my nose outside, and then I could go back inside.
Yeah, and
I was like,
it's
well,
all
that
ridiculous.
Don't make sense.
Yeah, literally, you could talk about COVID for
Days.
for weeks if you wanted, but for example, I mean, we'll go to like some basketball games, and I know it's not the teams, it's not the coaches, it's not the schools even. It's the OHSA has rules, you got to follow them, and they're probably getting those from the Ohio Health Department. But you'll go to at the beginning of this basketball season, or even in volleyball season, they would play with the ball, like they would hit it back and forth, sweat all over it, pass it to teammates, and all this stuff, and then about whenever they wanted. It wasn't like every 5 or every 10. It's dirty now.
And now it's dirty, I think.
Yeah, and so they would make you take the ball and get a new ball and wipe that ball off.
It was crazy.
And I'm just like, there's no reason at all. If they've got it, they've already got it.
Right.
It's
like my brother's an EMT and a paramedic.
Yeah.
And he deals with COVID patients every day. And he finally got it. I mean, we kind of knew he was going
Right.
to. And so we quarantined for the 2 weeks. We actually quarantined for 2 weeks prior. But the thing that I didn't know was that he could leave before me.
He's like, what, 7 days and you're 14?
No, he
That's
was.
how-
So
that's
he
how
was
Cleo
he was 14 at the time, and he had to wait. And then at that like 14-day mark, he could leave. And then at the 14-day mark, when he left, I then started my next 14 days of quarantine because I could then catch it from his last day. I was like, I got to sit here for 28 days.
Yeah.
I was like, that's a month. But
Right.
that was before they changed all the guidelines and everything else. So,
Yeah, it's getting a little better.
like, right when we got out of it, they were like, oh, 10 days is fine. I'm like, you're kidding.
Right. And see,
I was like, wow.
yeah. And what I'm thinking now is like, outside of the COVID stuff, more into the political, we're not going to go super far in there because that's a rabbit hole in itself.
That's a whole.
But, this is coming out the, 6th? I think 26th, something like that. Whatever day it is, just hashtag OTR podcast.
You said 26.
I think that's
you're
what it
spot
is.
on there.
But it's the 15th right now. If someone's listening to this, we could be in a civil war.
That's true.
We don't know. Like,
we don't know what's going to happen.
No one's
really.
been inaugurated yet. Like, we're all happy and cheery, and we're sitting here. We don't know what's going on right now.
I tell you.
Like, it's gonna get crazy.
It's going to get bad. I've heard. I mean, there's so many theories out there, though. I don't know if you've heard any of them.
Oh,
but
I don't know how many we want to go into. I'm fine with it, but YouTube might not be. They might
that's
care.
true.
But
They might ban us.
hey, if you want to hear the whole podcast its entirety, you can subscribe to us. It's $5.99 a month. No,
There you
I don't. There are subscription packages if you're interested, but other than that, you're gonna have to rely on YouTube, free source. But we could go there. I mean, there's so much going on, and the 20th coming up, for us. But this could be like pre Super Bowl predictions.
I mean, this could be. I mean, this will be the most watched event instead of the Super Bowl.
Yeah, but they're deploying 20,000 troops to the Capitol.
I think DeWine sent like 580 or something.
Yeah,
just from Ohio.
Just for the inauguration. They're not doing the parade and all this stuff. So, but what's weird is like when the Capitol thing happened, everyone knew, like, they didn't know that was going to happen, but they knew there was this massive rally, like there was this giant rally, like millions of people were going to go to this rally, and you could probably suspect, okay, maybe something weird could happen.
Right.
But I haven't heard of like any reason why there should be 20,000 troops. Obviously security was pretty lax. Like, let's up that a little bit.
Right.
But, no one, unless there's some secret underground society where they're like, hey, we're going to have 8 million people at the Capitol on January 20th. Like,
Yeah.
that's a lot of troops. That's a lot of troops for.
I and I don't know, I'm not the most super religious person, but I do pray that everybody stays safe and
Right.
just protests
and
peacefully.
You'll see me, some people that listen, they're probably closer to me, but you'll see me on Facebook. I'll get a little involved.
Yeah. No,
But
I mean,
I try to
and
be as
there's
reasonable as I
some
can
things
be.
though. There's some things that are just
Yeah.
everybody should be scared about some stuff.
So yeah, actually, this kind of works into, I guess, the technology social media side. So Parler, you've heard of Parler?
Yep, absolutely.
They're completely gone right now.
Black.
And it's very strange. I guess it's a good way to articulate it here because when you're typing, you don't really get the full effect, and people think you're trying to fight with them when you're trying to reason with them.
Right.
But, I made a post and I was like, look, like, if Apple, Google, and Amazon can just say, nah, we don't want, like, this is a threat to us, there's something wrong there.
Oh, yeah.
It doesn't, I don't care if it's the left's, whatever side it is.
Oh, yeah. I don't know if you saw in Germany, though, Merkel came out
Yes.
and said that, like, that's bad.
Right.
She's like, this is how it happened.
Yeah, and so this is a very, like, this is a stretch, but, like, I can see how people relate it to it, is like destroy, like, censoring all the, like, I get some things, like, Trump says some dumb stuff, right?
Oh, absolutely.
It needs to be, like, at least quoted under it, like, this isn't true, whatever.
Right.
But
may have side effects.
yes, right. But to completely delete a dude, the president, not a dude, and
It should be very scary. You're deleting the president of the United States. How does he not have a voice to the people? I mean, granted, it's Twitter and
Right.
it's Instagram and all
Right.
that stuff. He still has a voice. He can get on and address the union if he really needs
right.
to. But to let everyone else have their account still, I don't know.
It's not that they're banning him. It's that there's a double standard around the banning.
Very
of
much
it.
so.
If
much
it was
so.
like Trump's gone, this guy on who is that lady? There's a lady in media, like she on Twitter. This was like in 2016, so this is right when he got elected, holding up like his bloody head. Like,
yeah,
that's why is she still on?
but like, and there's things like I don't want my son to see that.
Right.
I mean, he's gonna look back on that and be like, "Oh, that was the president in whatever
Yeah,
year
right.
that happened," and was like, "Is that normal?" For them to, like, no, I don't want him to think that.
Right. And I think really, most people are in the middle. Like, yeah, there's some dudes way out on the left. There's some dudes way out on the right, whatever. Ladies too. We're not going to just make it dudes. But sorry. But you get like, I feel like we're just so busy on social media, like trying to make our side the right side.
Everybody's got to fight for their voice.
Yeah.
Like, I have to be over top of you. And
Right.
if I'm not over top of you, then I'm not winning.
Then I'm not. And that's
you can
what,
have a peaceful conversation.
literally. And that's why, obviously, like, I'm not like sitting here. This isn't like a completely political podcast, but that's why I like bringing people in versus, everyone's like, well, you can just do a Zoom. It's great. It's a great communication tool. It's great for like meetings and all this stuff.
But the in-person interaction,
Yeah. So
it's
like,
not there.
for example, like right now between me and you, it's live. It's instantaneous. We're hearing each other.
And we're 6 foot apart.
Right. We're spread
We're
apart.
fine.
We don't need plexiglass. But like if you want to make a point or if I'm talking and you can, and not to me, but you can interrupt me. I can like counterpoint you real quick, like, and we don't have to be like,
Excuse me.
Oh,
yeah, I
it's
got something to
delayed,
say.
and so you like it's so awkward because you're like on Zoom and you're like, hey, and they'll start talking. You're like, oh wait, hold on, and you don't.
And then
get,
it's like, what?
yeah,
What?
right. You're like, oh, go ahead, no, and even here you get eye contact, versus if you're, I guess you can look at the screen and see the person, but you're not looking into their eye.
Right.
If you're gonna look at them, you got to look into the camera. That's how eye contact is. Whereas in person, it's instantaneous. You can hear the inflection in people's voices. If I type something sarcastic, it could look as normal as possible. If I say something sarcastic, you get get it more. You'll have people that understand it versus So I think what's going to help save the country, because I'm a genius. I should
all
be
the answers.
I should be in charge, right? No, but I think what would help is if everyone would just agree to. There's got to be compromise.
Just agree to disagree.
Yeah,
I mean, you can disagree with people and still be just fine in the end.
Yes.
You don't have to go overboard. You don't have to like fall off the face of the earth.
and
Everything's gonna be all right.
That's part of what I've. I think everyone wants to be the I gotcha guy. Like, well, but this or but no, this. She said. It doesn't matter.
Everybody's got to have like an upper hand.
We're like 12-year-olds.
Oh,
yeah. The whole country's just, even in like Congress and stuff, it's like, just shut up.
like, oh my. There's a lot of people that just need to shut up, but like, it's just the fact that they keep going.
Yeah.
And it's like,
Well,
this is not why we elected you.
And it's the saying, you give an inch they take a mile. Like I could come out and be like, well, I agree with you on this, and instead of being like, okay, great, like let's make this country better, or let's better ourselves. It doesn't even have to be political. They'll be like, but you said that, so why can't you do this too?
Right.
You know, and it's like let's be adults. Let's talk about it.
And I get like Trump has his differences with Biden, whatever,
Right.
but like you still need to attend the inauguration. There has not been one president. Well, I think there was once that didn't attend an inauguration, or maybe there's a couple.
Yeah.
I don't know, but you just need to.
Right.
You need to go to that. It's, been happening since the founding fathers. You really
Literally.
want to like not do that?
Right. And I think, he didn't do the best job, especially this last like 5 or 6 months of, like in the past, there have been political objections to stuff, like Bush and I think it was Gore in 2000. Gore was winning.
Yep.
The press had said, Gore's on track to.
They had a recount.
They had a
election,
recount,
actually.
and Bush won. And so I can understand to a point where you want to let's check all the votes, especially with like such a like divided election as it was.
Yeah.
But at some point, you got to just don't give up, but at least don't say, you can come out and be like, hey, like it's not looking good, but whatever. Yeah,
It's not looking good for you, pal.
Right.
We're gonna have to take you off.
Yeah, but he's waited so long, and he finally, kind of said there'll be a new administration, whatever, and the media will not let that go. But he's come out and been like, there will be a new administration, whatever. But it's been so long, and I feel like it's just been like all this, and that's kind of, I think, I don't think he necessarily incited the violence of the Capitol riots, like.
No one said to go inside the Capitol and go steal a bunch of stuff and trash it.
I know.
Like, I mean, sure, if he said that like directly,
great,
maybe, but like, come on, like open your eyes
it's
just a little
bit. And that comes back to the Parler thing. Is like that's why Amazon's canceling service. They're like, well, there were incitements of violence. We found 98 cases. I'm like, Parler was the fastest growing platform on Google and Apple stores, right? You're telling me
with
that's
5-star rating,
and
for both,
and you literally the same 2 or 3 day span. You're like, we'll get rid of you too. Like you're telling me that's not anti-competitive at all. Like,
but then it's like, but go get your own server. Oh well, Amazon's gonna shut down your server.
Right.
And then you got to start from the ground up.
It almost makes them
up.
a black sheep of anything. Like no one wants to touch them.
Right.
Like you've got this platform. It'd be great to just be like, well, we'll just go somewhere else. But now everyone as a business owner or a business is like, well. Do we want canceled too? Like
it's not good to have some of the wealthiest and some of the most powerful people in line with just one party. You have to have a mix because
or at least allow difference of not
you're just
obviously
gonna piss off half the country if you just keep passing things you want to pass.
And that's what scares. I'm not scared per se, but I guess. After the riot and after these people stormed the Capitol, what'd you do? You deleted the president that they were all behind off of your platform.
What do you think was going to happen?
And now what do you think that made them like happy? They're like, oh, he's gone. We're good.
There we go.
That's a little worse. You probably made it worse. It blows my mind.
They don't think so though.
No, they don't think so. And they think everything's for the better of the people. And this is actually a really good philosophical question. So I was just thinking, but like Bill Gates, whatever you think about him, this is more of like a hypothetical. But I did hear someone say once, and this is completely your opinion. So let's say like Bill Gates, billionaire, whatever, has access to like this information that like, well, we could either let everyone continue what we're doing. So like say it was like, I don't know, like let's say we needed to convert to like solar power in like 100 years, or else half the planet's going to die or whatever. Or no, let's say more. Let's say
just a far-fetched theory.
Right. So let's say if we're not on solar by 2121. Oh, there we go. 100 years.
21, there you go.
Yeah. But let's say that will then kill like almost everyone on Earth.
Sure.
For some, we run out of food, whatever, over a period of time. Or if he can step in with his money, but if people know, they're going to know what's happening,
right? And
they're not going to let it happen.
Mm-hmm.
But if he steps in, like with, I don't know, like let's say he's like, well, if we can't tell anyone, but we got to get rid of coal, whatever. So we're going to fight for that. in Congress and stuff and make it happen. Everyone's against it, but somehow they make it through. He knows that at that point, you can then save 75% of the population. Is that, like, what do you think? Do you think people should have that free will to continue? Or do you think this one man and this entity should do what they think is morally right? And remember, this is his statistics. He doesn't necessarily know,
Right.
but he might think, or he might have like some like analytics that say, well, if we don't in X amount of years, we're gonna die or whatever. That's, and I've thought about this.
How many times is the world gonna end though?
Well, the Mayan calendar, I have no idea.
No, but it kind of goes along with that. Like, do I think one man should have that amount of power? No. Absolutely not. Mm-hmm. That's called world domination, and there's been plenty of movies about it, and I don't think it should happen.
Right.
But no, it kind of goes in line with like, I don't know, because I would take a vote on it. I would let the people vote.
Right. But see, now if you let the people vote, they know about it.
Sure, but I rather see if I was in these shoes and I had that amount of money. No, I'm just kidding. But no, but like if the people are going to vote on it, and if it's going to happen either way, then take a vote.
Right.
If you're going to do it either way, which they're probably going to anyhow.
Yeah, and that wasn't the exact form of the question, but that's all I could pretty much remember from it. But it was very interesting because I could see both sides. You can see, well, if I'm the guy in charge, obviously you want absolute power, but absolute power corrupts absolutely. Mm-hmm. Great quote. But at the same time, you want people to have free will. You don't want to have like, it's just so interesting. And that kind of goes into like with the masks and everything, like great. Like we need to be protected. Like we want to protect our loved ones and all this stuff. But if I'm outside, there's places. Now, does Muskingum make you guys wear masks on campus outdoors?
Yeah.
Yeah. And so, you could be alone, right? Just walking.
I had a friend that was walking in a parking lot by himself, like totally by himself, like just no one around him. Guy from across the parking lot makes it a point to walk over to him and say, "Put your mask on." And he was like, "But you just came and endangered me." He's like, "You came over all the way just to say that to me."
Right.
There's a big mind your business factor involved with that. Like, if it ain't hurting, you keep walking.
Yeah, and I think that's what that goes into. How do we continue? Like, I feel like everyone wants to be in everyone's business.
Sure.
Everyone wants to have power over other people, but if we just let it go, like, accept that you can do what you want to do. This person can do what they want to do. If you don't agree, whatever, you can still play games. You can still do whatever. You can settle. You can go sit at the literally, and it's just it's so weird to think like. Yeah, like you're walking outside alone, and someone's gonna
from across the parking lot. Made it a point to walk literally, and it's fair sized parking lot too.
Is it? Yeah.
So, and
see that's how I've always, even since the beginning. If a business wants me to wear a mask, I will wear a mask. If they don't care, if I wear it in, whatever, like I'm already there. I'm not gonna make it a point to be like, oh great, free, but
right.
If no one cares, other than one person that if you're outside, why unless you're in a big crowded group, or if you're inside and a business wants you to, great, like that's their choice. They want you to wear it. Actually, really, it's kind of not their choice anymore.
Yeah,
it's the Ohio Department of Health. But so like some do care, some don't. I'm not gonna go in angry that they want me to wear a mask. I've seen both sides. I've seen this side that's like, why not? It's America. And I'm like, it is. You're right. And actually, business owners have their own rules.
That's right. And they should be able to abide by those rules that they make.
Yeah.
Because that's their business, their money, and their property.
Yep. And that's
my opinion.
No, that's almost a fact. It is an opinion, but it should be a fact. But yeah, so it just, people are like, well, I don't have to wear a mask. It doesn't say I do. It's like, well, if you come that'd be like if I come into your house, if I ask you to wear a mask and you don't, I can kick you, whatever. But you have rules you have to follow in a society.
Right.
Like, whether you like it or not, you can choose to go to another business. You can choose to go find an alternative to, if you have to wear a mask into Walmart, find somewhere else to go. That, you know, like,
Yep.
and people think they have a right to go into Walmart. And,
Walmart of all places.
and speaking of Walmart, they've been open the whole time.
Yeah.
I mean,
It's nuts. And like my uncle back home in New York is just absolutely suffering.
the big city small businesses.
He's got a wedding venue that he also it's kind of like a triple action thing. He's got a hotel that he'll rent out to like the wedding family.
Yeah.
Right across the street is the wedding venue that they walk to the day of the wedding and everything. And then he caters it all because he's got a catering business.
Yeah.
So it's basically like a trifecta.
See, that's the goal.
Oh yeah.
That's
No,
the
and
goal.
he makes great money with it, and it's been killing him because they can't have any parties over like 35 people.
Right.
What wedding is going to have 35 people in it?
Right.
My Aunt Tanya had like 8 bridesmaids. 8 and 8 is 16. That's half the wedding.
Yeah, it's insane that I've seen both sides, but people are okay with letting Amazon and Walmart and the biggest businesses in America, let alone the world, they're like, yeah, like we need to, and they're okay. Not that I'm opposed to them be open, but they're okay with them being open. But then they're also wanting us to stay safe and be in our houses and not be able to do our jobs.
Right.
And it's crazy. I just think it's so crazy that they also want to redistribute wealth. They're like, well, the top 1%, we need more money in the lower percent.
Right.
But then at the same time, they're like, but everyone wear your mask and don't have a job. Everyone stay inside.
That's what I
order
kinda
from
fear.
Amazon. It's like you're literally doing the opposite of what you want.
Well, I mean, you can turn this country upside down in a matter of a week if you start giving everybody $2,000 a week to pay for like rent, groceries, and everything, and nobody's gonna work.
Right.
Nobody's gonna slice the bread that you get at the grocery store. Nobody's gonna make the bread that you get at the grocery store. Therefore, the price of bread is gonna go to like $15.
Yeah, and it's, I think one stimulus payment, whatever. I didn't get one. I
didn't get one either.
I didn't even.
Oh my God.
Oh. I need like a segment for this. Wouldn't that be sick if it just like cuts to the commercial break?
You know what you could use is my son listens to this guy named Blippy.
Oh, I know about Blippy.
You do? Why?
I have nephews.
Oh, okay. All right. I was like, I mean, if you want to watch him on
guy.
if you want to watch him on your own time, please.
Dude,
but
the construction episode is to die for. I'm just
he's got a dinosaur one and he's got this other one, but there's this one with trains and it's got this whole train song. It'd be a great loop.
Just throw it on here.
And I'm sorry if I keep checking my phone. Cam's supposed to be getting my little boy from daycare. By the way, everybody, Cam is my lovely girlfriend.
Nice.
So
nice.
Yeah.
And your son.
My son. Oh yes, my son Lorenzo. He just turned 3 actually on December 12th.
Nice.
Best little boy ever.
Yeah. And so how has that affected?
Yeah, we'll switch gears. Here.
Just instant turn off. Screw politics.
No, that's okay. No, being a father at such a young age too. I mean,
what this could tie in. What do you think his outlook is like growing up, like right now? I mean,
I hope good.
Right, not his personal outlook, but like what are your feelings towards like society as a whole? Like if you were that young.
Oh my God, I want to put him in a cage.
Yeah,
really. Like I really don't even want him to go outside. Like,
yeah,
I don't really. I mean, Cam and I go to him. Go to him. We take him to restaurants.
We go to his house sometimes.
Yeah, we do. He's got his own little tent upstairs. So, no, I mean we'll take him to restaurants and everything like that, and he'll go shopping with us. But like if it's like a quick trip to Walmart, I'm not really about it because like if I'm trying to get in and out, and like my total focus is kind of like just getting in and out, and like I got him on my hip or something, like there's just too many factors. I'm not about it.
Yeah, and this is so I've heard people say too. They, our kids now, like middle school and under, like by the time the COVID thing's over and like we're allowed to go back to real life, air quotes if you're listening, which who knows if that's going to happen, but are they just going to be so used to wearing masks that they're just, and it won't like, that's not necessarily a bad thing if they don't care, but like, are they just going to be like, oh yeah, I got this sick new like Supreme mask.
Oh yeah. Well, no, but it's kind of crazy because if you think about it, like, my son's only 3. This obviously been going on about a year or so.
Yeah.
So for a third of his life, he's seen people with masks on, and obviously his memory's getting better as he gets older. So he's like, "Is this how we do it?
Yeah.
Is this life?" Like we got to wear masks everywhere we go, and like I really don't want him to see that.
I know.
So, but I mean, obviously he sees it and he doesn't. He deals with it and whatever. We got little dinosaur masks for him and everything, but you don't wear them.
Right.
So yeah, society with my son. There's a lot that like. I mean, you can't being a father. You can't protect.
Right.
Him from
you don't want to
everything.
get
I want him to get exposure and everything. That's why he's in daycare. He's playing with other kids, blah, 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 whatever. Like, some of those bad things, though, like, just how easy it is to get, like, stuff on the internet. And
right. And it's only going to get easier. And
I'm not about it.
yeah. And I think there'll be some good...
There'll be blockers on my internet.
Yeah. And you're going to censor him? Is it
Really?
really?
Everything. Everything from Facebook to... you posted too much this week. You're getting
right.
off there.
Yeah. But I think... There's a lot, you know, obviously, like, with how everything's been, like, it's easy to look at, like, the negative and everything. There's some positive, not necessarily out of the pandemic, but, you know, like, the digital stuff is just, it forced it to grow.
Oh, yeah.
Now, same as everything. Some of it hasn't been great growth, but we're learning that, like, and I'm not a parent, so I like, especially a school-age parent. I couldn't imagine having to have your kid at home.
Yeah, I'm very proud of him, actually, because at the age of 3, he actually just started a little bit of preschool.
Yeah.
So he's doing really good.
That's awesome. But that's, you know, that's like, I'm like, if my kid was like a middle schooler or like high school and I had to, you know, have arrangements made for him to study online, maybe in a few years that might make sense and people were like adjusted to it. But like to go from like, we're all in school 5 days a week to now,
he's never
we're
been
not in
like a school structure without masks and everything like that
Right.
because he was old enough to finally
that's
start
true.
once all this started happening. And at first he couldn't even go because they closed everything down. Like daycares and stuff were closed. And then it was like, all right, well, if you're a nurse or if you're, what was it called?
Like
Required
essential-
work. Yeah, essential
workers.
worker. There we go. Thank you. And actually for real estate, I was considered essential. And his mom is a nurse.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, something like that. Something over at Genesis. But she was essential. So we both we were allowed to have him in there for a while, and then obviously they let everybody back. But it was just like for those parents that didn't have that for a week, I was like,
Right.
I wasn't able to work as it was, but I was like, what if they were like a doctor and like their 4-year-old was at home?
Yeah.
And you're on call.
And you're the only, you know, some of them are single parents. Some are, mom and dad might, you know, mom might not be able to be there. Dad might not be able to be there. It's like, if I have to go and, you know, our ICU unit's like just flooded with patients, what do I do? You know? And so that's where it's like, it's very interesting to see, you know, I think it was a forced change where it's like, we're in school 5 days a week. Hopefully it gets back to that because that human interaction, just like we were talking, that's so important. Like
The kids that are in school that like just started school this year don't even know. They're sitting 6 feet away from their friends.
Yeah, you know, like
you can't even have a friend at 6 feet away.
Like,
oh hey, that's literally the epitome of throwing notes back and forth to each other because you have to now. Like it's not just passing; you're whipping it to the guy across the room just to get
They're
it to
getting
him.
really good at making paper airplanes. Is what's happening.
I could never do that.
I wasn't a note passer.
crumpled it up and was
the
just-
only note I ever wrote. That's probably why I stopped writing notes. I wrote a note to a girl in like 5th grade, and I was like, "Do you like me?"
Check yes or no.
She's like,
No.
yeah, but, and I'm like, oh.
Oh, there's a butt?
Like,
At
okay.
5th grade, there was a butt?
It was intricate, and that was kind of the start of like my like unconfidence. I'm like, Like, I'm like,
At 5th grade?
I'm like, I got Xbox.
Oh, no. It starts.
Right.
And so we boot up Modern Warfare 2 when I get home.
Right. No, I remember Xbox. And there's a mix of that too, where I think the online interaction is almost like when I was in middle school, it was almost still like very like weird. It was very taboo to like play like video games still, where people were like, "Oh, you're in like nerd is like a good thing now," you know, like people are like, "Oh, you're a nerd," and they're like, "Ah," but at that point,
make a lot of money too.
like you're a nerd, and like you'd be weird and all this, and it's like. It's to a point now where everyone's playing games. Every middle school kid in the world has an Xbox and all this stuff. And actually, you can see it on Mark's screen. The Halo 3 best game ever made. It's back there.
Oh, back there.
Yeah, but so you know those online connections. Those are like my best friends still. Some of them, like Ethan. You know, he works with me. Yeah, and we met playing video games. And so I think. Outside of like everything being digital, there still needs to be that human interaction.
Sure.
But it's also, digital is now a platform where you can make friends that are real friends instead of just like, oh, I know this guy, his name's Zombie Killer 12. Like his name, he has like a family and all this stuff.
Oh yeah, no, I had actually made a friend out in California that like only played zombies. Yeah. And he was like, hey man, you want to get on? I'm like, bro, you're 12. I was like, I have like a life. I was like, it's not just this all day. I was like, I'll get on with you later on. But like, and he got to like rounds like 100 and like, he was a great teammate. Yeah. But like, he was 12. So it was like,
right.
I mean, I was like 15 or something at the time, but it was like, nah, I can't be on this all day, bud.
And there was one guy that I like really didn't know. Like he's just a guy I met online playing like Halo. And I don't know him like in real life, but he's like the one guy I remember. And he was older. He was probably like, not to me, he was older. I was like 12. So he was probably like 17, 18.
Oh, yeah.
But he was just so nice. Like there's a lot of bad on, you're an idiot, yelling about people's moms and everything.
It's a lot farther than you're an idiot, but we won't get into that.
Wow. But
PG-13 podcast.
Right. But, he was very like nice. And I he was just like, hey, you want to play some Halo? And I don't know if he like had anything to do with his life, but he's just a real nice dude, and like he's the guy I remember from Xbox. Like, and I wish I knew him, and I could be like, dude, thanks for like being nice to me, even though I sounded like I was a girl, and like, and so
thanks for being with me through all those bad years of middle school.
And so like sometimes even still, I'll play like Fortnite, like not very often. I hate Fortnite, but it's fun. Like it's addicting. But
it faded. It faded for me. I was like, oh my god, this is so much fun.
It's a lot of.
And then I like booted up one day. I was like,
this isn't the game I started playing. Yeah. But and so there was this one kid, he's like 11. I'm like, what's up, dude? Because he's like on my teammate, and he's like, hey, and all this stuff. And he was so nice, though. He's like, will you be my friend? I'm like, oh, yeah.
Oh, God. It's like, yeah, come on. You want to play another game? It's like,
I played like 3 games with him. I think he's my friend, and he's probably like thinks I'm dead. I never got back on.
I had people like, I would just be like in a game with them. They'd be like, send a friend request. I'm like, I didn't even talk to you.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm not going to.
He's like, you're cool.
I'm not going to accept that. Like, I had a great score that game, but like, nah, you're not on my level.
Yeah. But it's just so, the friends you can make online now are real friends versus like before. There were people doing it, but it was like very closeted, and you're like, I don't want to talk about my friend from California that I met online. But now it's cool. You're like, oh yeah.
No, it got weird there for a while where like you met someone online. I was like, why? Like, why would you do that? And it was just like, no, I was in a game. Like, what? That's even worse. And it was like, all right, fine.
Just some random dude? No, but yes.
Like, Mark, you're 14. How old's he? I don't know, 35, 40. He's just playing Xbox.
We had a story. We did have that happen. So this is a weird story, and I'm not going to put names out there because I like the guy and he's my cousin. So. But we were on a youth trip. We were on a youth group trip with our church, and we went to Tennessee or something. And this like is like a van of like 12 to like 15, 16-year-olds and like our youth minister.
Why?
Well, if you're not in a youth group, it sounds very strange, right? It's a white van and all that, but it's not as strange as it sounds. So we're going down.
Just keep it rolling. Keep it rolling.
But we get to this hotel, like where we're staying, and this dude pulls up in a car, and he's like, "Oh, hey!" And we're like, "We're in Tennessee. Like,
hi."
We're like, no one down here knows us,
right?"
And we're like, this is kind of, and I'm gonna have to cut that name. So anyway, my cousin looks at this guy. He's like, "What's up, dude?" He invited this guy to our hotel because he met him like on a game.
Oh, okay. So it wasn't just some dude coming off.
So
the road
he met him.
Like, hey,
but he met him in a game. But he was like 40, and we were
you
just
like
a bunch
tell
of
him to meet him down there. Like,
well, yeah, he's like, I'm coming down to Tennessee. You want to meet up? Like, not like
with the youth group.
So they didn't hang out, but like he just like stopped to say hi, right? But it's still so like strange to me. I'm like,
well, is this dude going with us all week?
This guy could have shot us. I don't know. Like,
oh yeah,
like any, obviously like not everyone's horrible, but to meet someone online that's that old and you're that young, and them to be like, yeah, sure, I'll come meet you. Like
it's a lot different now than I think it was back then, because everybody obviously we know a lot more,
right,
about like
and
the whole online.
You can figure out who people are beforehand,
right?
And I'm sure
there shouldn't even be a show called Catfish. I'm sorry if you can't figure it out, and if it's really that iffy, You shouldn't
It's
be
like,
doing
it's
it.
like the bait car stuff too. It's like,
Yeah, let me just hop in a car with the door
like,
open.
dude, this car is dope. There's a laptop in the back, and it's
There's
perfect.
like $300 in the center console.
Yeah, I've been watching some of those videos on YouTube, so like that's. But this guy, there was one. It was so funny. He's like, "Dude, there's a laptop in the back." And he's like, "Let's go!" And they get in this car, and they're like, and funny.
I like how they lock him in.
I know.
They're like, oh, bro, we can't get out. What's wrong with the door? Oh, you're locked in.
But so they're in this car, and it's like a couple. So like it's a grown guy, and they're driving, and the cops come up behind him, and she said, "Oh, please God!" And I'm like, "Whoa!" I'm like,
You can't.
"You're gonna
call
steal
on
the
God
car, and then
right
you're
now.
gonna ask God to help you."
Like, listen, they know. So God's on their side.
Oh.
You don't understand, sweetie.
It's just so funny because she was like, "Please, no, God, please," and I'm like, "What are you asking him for? Like, you just stole a car. Like,
Right.
what you think he was like? Oh, she needs my
Like-
help. What's happening? You know,
You know, I see you down there, but like, I did see you steal the car too.
I saw that. Yeah,
I'm gonna let this one slide. I'm gonna tell the cops,
You
like,
know
you know,
what?
give you free pass, but
I'll
they're gonna
unlock
still
the
put you
doors
in the back.
for you. But that was funny. I saw that like a few days ago. It's on my mind. But yeah, and
Did we start this on a topic of like my son?
something. It was your son, and now we're on bait cars. Yeah.
Anything is possible.
Oh, but yeah, just like in general, the world that we're growing up in now is very strange. But I don't like being the pessimistic guy. So
Right.
yeah, there's a lot of very bad going on. But
I tell Cam all the time, and my parents, I live in the wrong generation.
yeah,
I want to be back in like the 70s
Yeah.
and 80s with like the GTOs and the Chargers and stuff that were coming out in the car.
What's your
and
dream car?
Mark IV Supra? Gotta have it.
Mm-hmm.
One of the 90s.
I want a 1969 Mustang.
Yeah.
Mach something. Or
Like a
no,
fastback?
did they make the Machs or is that 70s? I don't know if they made them in the 60s.
Well, you want like the fastback 2-door one, like the with
Yeah.
not the Coyote motor that's
Yeah.
new now, but
I don't know. Just an old Mustang. Like 60, anything 67 to 69.
my
like
grandfather
that.
had either a 67 or a 68,
Yeah.
and he switched out the manual transmission in it for an automatic, so my grandmother could drive it.
Mm-hmm.
And then nobody ever drove it, and so that it sat. And then he sold it for dirt cheap, and we were all PO because the car was like worth
Really?
way. He sold it for like $5,000. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
And
They're
then-
expensive.
But
now.
I mean, it was to a family friend, so it went to a good home anyhow. But it was just like, crap, like that was like 15, 20 grand.
right.
Where'd it go?
No, I don't.
He was like, I sold it. So I was like,
Yeah.
all right, it's your car.
I love. I don't know. I like new cars still. I like some cars. I'm not like a crazy like car guy, but
No, I mean,
I used to be more. I think.
I
Like,
don't know if I can call myself a crazy car guy,
Yeah.
but like, I like cars.
yeah.
I love cars.
Yeah, you
cars
detail
are, cars
cars.
are a great time. I mean,
Now you and Cammy have matching.
me and Cam have matching G8s.
Yeah.
It's kind of actually
So how'd
pretty
that
cool.
happen?
So, well, she called me one day. She was like, Mark. And I was like, what? She's like, you're going to be mad. I'm like, why am I going to be mad? She's like, my car is dead. I was like, well, why does that make me mad? She's like, well, you're going to have to come get me. And I was like, all right, that's fine. I can come get you. Her motor blew in the Eclipse. And so we were like, all right, should we, throw a whole new block in and just new motor, like $3-4 grand, whatever. And I was like, Cam, it ain't worth it. I was like, you got a busted taillight. We just redid your headlights. And I was like, we got a lot more to go.
Yeah.
I was like, let's just get something. And so Adam Hollingshead,
Mm-hmm. I know about him.
yeah.
I work out with him.
he's a good guy. He's a good guy. He helped us. Well, that car was right on his front lawn. I had been seeing it for a couple weeks, and I was like, wouldn't it be cool if somebody drove that like around with me? Because I still have the red one, and then I got the black one,
Yeah.
and Cam's got the gray one. But I was like, it'd be really cool if someone would drive that around with me. And I was like, Cam, let's go take a look. And so we're looking at it, and Adam was talking to us and everything. And I notice on the dash, and I don't know if Adam ever knew this or not, so this might be new news to him, but on the dash, there's a plaque on that car, on Cam's car. It says one of the first 888s. So one of the first 888 G8s that came off that line was kind of like a special off
Right.
type deal. Hers was like number 220 something or other. And so she's got one of the rare ones.
Yeah.
And I don't think they knew that. So he sold it to us for a little cheaper, but I think it might be a little bit more to the right person.
He's
though.
got some good pricing.
To the right person, it'll be
Right.
worth a little bit more, but I don't know if she likes it or not because we got to redo her headliner because it's fallen down a little bit, but we're going to redo it in like something that she likes a different color. But she's like, it keeps hitting my head.
You do like what, leopard print? Just like
I don't know if she's gonna go with leopard.
you can Playboy it out.
Well, no, the thing I told her, I said, if we're gonna do any repairs, I was like, you're helping me. She's like, why? I'm like, because I want you to learn.
Right.
I was like, we're gonna be out here, and I'm gonna freeze my rear end off in the garage. I'm like, with the heater on, even with it on. I was like, you're gonna come out with her there with me.
Yeah.
So, and I got her I had color changing halos in my red one, and I gave them to her. She really likes those. I gave her my LED tail lights. So I think next we're gonna do tint, some rims. I think she wants like she wants it to be like low key, but like I don't think we're gonna lower it or do anything.
Right.
Not like mine.
Well, now she works at the Wilds, right?
Yeah, actually, she's starting a new job on Monday. She's gonna be helping special needs patients.
Oh, yeah.
So she's excited about that.
Yeah, that'll be good. Oh, yeah. Mike did a lot of that stuff. Classic Mike.
Classic
Love Mike.
I like Mike too.
But so still on cars, but what her car's pretty rare. But what are some of like the rarest cars like you've detailed, or like what's been like a few of the best ones you're like, oh, this was pretty sick. Like
the GT350 was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Because I got to keep it overnight and I got to put it in the garage. And so I was just like, there is one of 3,900 GT350s of 2019 in my garage. I was like, that's pretty bad.
Yeah.
So no, that one was a lot of fun. I've done a couple of Mercedes, like Stem's mom's Mercedes.
Yeah.
Like those look really good because if you can get a couple nice cars on your page and everything, people see like, oh, you're not just detailing like a Honda Civic.
Right.
So which Honda Civics are great. I got a friend with a Type R.
Yeah, Caitlin.
Yeah,
he's coming. She might have an Accord. Oops.
No, but like that one was a really good one, and I've had a lot of nice trucks come in. I've had a lot of like lifted,
a lot of trucks,
a lot of lifted, a lot of nice rims. I mean, the guys that come in, they're like, "Listen, it was just muddy last week, so you can do whatever you want with it." And I was just like, "Well, I mean, I'll clean it, but like, are you just gonna go put it back in the mud pit, or like, what do you want here?" So
yeah,
I've had a lot of nice trucks come in. But that GT350, I mean, that car was beautiful. Had like 5,000 miles on it, and like I said, it was one of 3,900. Yeah. So, and the guy lives around here. Really cool guy. There's a guy in the neighborhood next to mine. He's got a C8 and it's red. I'm trying to get him to come in, but he won't do it. He won't take it out of the garage.
We need to get Adam to bring his Lambo down.
Oh, 2,500 horsepower.
Adam, bring your Lambo.
Yeah, if you do,
ASMR.
Adam, I get you that free wash just so I can get that car in the driveway. I just really want to see it. I really want to see the twin turbos. So, thank you.
Yeah. No, So I just got my Hyundai. Like it's fairly new. I got it in August.
You got a good deal on that, didn't you?
I did get a good deal. So it was rebuilt, but
because it was just the front end, wasn't it?
Yeah, no engine. It was just like the radiator and AC or something.
Not a big deal.
But 27,000 miles. Can't beat it. I got it for like 10 grand.
And it's like what, a 2015?
17.
Even better.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So my goal,
that's really good.
Yeah, my goal is that I don't have to buy a car for a while, so I can save up, maybe get a house, maybe get something, a rental, whatever. I don't know, but
you can get it through me.
No car payment, right?
No car payment. That's right. No, and that's the big thing though, is we didn't want a payment for Cam, so that's why we went and got that G8, and it just kind of worked out.
Yeah, and I think that's something if you're looking at like business and everything, or if you're not necessarily even if you're in a business, but if you're like looking to get a house, you'd be good to talk to about this too. Is like, if you're looking to get a house and everything, yes, you don't want to have a lot of payments. You don't want to have like auto loans hurt, like when you're applying for mortgages and stuff. If you don't have the,
we actually just had a big loan mortgage meeting yesterday about the whole pre-approval process, credit history, W-2s, pay stubs, all that good stuff.
Yeah. So into your real estate stuff.
Sure.
Who do you work for?
Home West Real Estate, Zanesville, Ohio.
Boom.
There you go. 55 North 4th Street. My office is the second door on the left.
But so how did you get into the real estate stuff?
Sure. So I like to kind of think one step ahead of the game. Back up just a minute. I base kind of like my whole life off like 7 pillars, and it's mind, body, soul, family, friends, business, money. Doesn't have to be in necessarily any type of order.
Business and money are first.
It takes kind of an effect. Everybody kind of goes like in their own turn, but as long as I have a balance of all of those, I'm happy. If I can balance, everything in my day and everything like that, we're good. Now, what I was finding with detailing is that I was focusing all my time stuff and like literally like my back hurts some nights and everything, so it was like whatever. So I was like, you know what, I was like, what's something that I can do that A, helps people, be happy and everything like that, because like that's something that I do care about. B, can make an income, because obviously I do have a little heart and mind to support. 3, something I like to do. I don't like to be, I like to have my own office space. I have my own office space and everything over in Zanesville, but that's not really what real estate is. Real estate's out in the field, and that's where you get your learning experience. So kind of correlating that back to how it all started, I needed more of like a balance of everything. I was tired of just doing just cars and just seeing like crap come in and out every day. Like, oh, you got mud, or oh, you got a stain. Like, oh, all right. So this was kind of like a change of pace. So I did the online classes because my son was actually on the way at the time. And it took me through the online classes about a year and a half. And then once testing and everything else was done, about 2 years. Now, that does not happen for most people. It's done in like 2 weeks.
Right.
But with everything I had going on, detailing and Muscam and a son on the way, and then having him here, it took a little bit of time. So I did the online classes, took 2 years, whatever, did all the books and everything. And I actually, at the age of 18, and then just a little bit of like age 19, I was the youngest real estate agent in Ohio. Okay. And so then obviously like younger kids surpassed me, but no, that's how I kind of got started, was all that. And I needed a change of pace. Yeah. You can't do, I had only been detailing for 2 years, but it was just like day after day after day after day. And yeah, it was my job. I loved my job. I loved doing it, and I still love doing it to this day, but it's just, I want something else to do. Right. I want to talk to people, because usually it was just me in the garage.
You get bored of the same thing.
Yep. Yeah, once the repetitiveness kicks in, right, it's like, all right, I'm done. Yep. But no, and I liked meeting new people and talking, and like the only hard part with all that was having people trust an 18, 19-year-old with the biggest asset of their life. And probably one of the biggest assets they will ever have in their life. Right. So it's just like, yeah, like I'm 19, like I can wear a suit, like I look good, and they're like, like we're gonna go with the 45-year-old that's done it for like 30 years. I was like, all right, that's cool, like I get it, but but no, I had a couple people that trusted me. It went really good from the start. I did over like 750 in sales volume, 750,000, not dollars. 750,000. It was a small house. Yeah, it was a very small property, like 0.2 of an acre. No, I did about 750 in sales volume in my first year, and I thought that was pretty good, because some people don't even get like a house sale. Right. And a lot of my sales come from like the buyer side of things. I don't necessarily deal with a lot of sellers, and I haven't. I can do with whatever I want. I like dealing with buyers because that's what I started out with, and it's kind of what I've been keeping on doing. Yeah. So I had one list. I've had a couple listings, but I like dealing with the buyer side of things. Now, you do take a little bit of like a pay cut, because the average commission rate in the area for real estate agents is 6%. But if you only represent one side, you only get 3%. The other side gets 3%. Right. So with only dealing with one side, you do get a little bit of a pay cut. But it's not necessarily anything detrimental if you can keep getting buyer after buyer after buyer after buyer. And especially right now, with the market the way it is. It's
pretty low interest rates.
That, and you can't find a house to buy because nobody's selling it. When somebody does sell, it's gone in a week. So I think the average time on the market in Columbus for a house is like 3 days. I've got some friends. I've got some friends up there that are realtors, and they can't keep them on the market. They're making tons of money, just tons of money.
Well, and see, that's that. I took my real estate stuff this last fall, and I think I'm getting to a point where the video stuff's great. Like, it's fun. It's a good time. There's always something different to do, but your day-to-day work is just the same thing over and over again. And at some point, I've talked about long-term goals on here with Eli and stuff, but at some point, I would love to just be in charge and not necessarily have to be here all the time.
Manifest your ideas.
Right. And I don't...
That's a big thing.
Yeah. And I don't have to be here all the time anyway, because most of our stuff's at night. We've got games, we've got sports. Most of that is evening, afternoon. So, I was like, well, what's something else I could do that's like fun and like I enjoy doing? Well, I was helping Ethan, not helping. I was just like along for the ride. But they were looking at houses, and I was like, this is pretty cool. Like,
yeah, something I want to get into. And then you texted me about our rental not too long ago, which you don't necessarily want to see.
I don't. Yeah, right. I don't know. Good. But but it's been a raw. Like, I went through Zane State. You went through what? Hondros?
Hondros Business College.
Yeah. So if you are interested in becoming a real estate agent. Is there? I don't even know the proper terms yet. Like
You start off as a sales agent,
Right.
and then once you join a board of realtors is when you become a realtor. So
Realtor, right.
technically, you can join like the national MLS and become a realtor. Technically, I'm not a realtor, but I can still do all the things that a realtor does.
You're a real estate agent. Right?
It's just the title term.
Yeah.
So
Yep.
it
And
does the same properties.
and so that's what I need to just basically. I just need to take my test. I'm gonna study a little bit before I take it. That's what I'm kind of waiting on.
It's not necessarily that it's hard. It's they try and trick you, and they know they try and trick you, and they're good at it.
Yeah.
It took me like 4 times for the national portion, and then once for the state portion.
Just once. Okay.
Yeah. So, and they know that they make some of the tests harder, so they'll make, like, if you go in once for your first test and you don't pass, you come in the second time. The even number tests, whether you take it 2, 4, 6, 8 times, are the easier tests. Because I passed on number 4, and number 2 was a lot easier than 1 and 3.
Right.
So, and they know that. They'll dull it down the next time to give you a chance, but if you don't pass, you're going right back to the hard one.
Yeah.
So now what they usually do is they'll leave answers kind of later on in the test, and you can go back, but when it's online, you got to click to go all the way back. You don't remember what time
And so,
or where the question was.
do you have to go to a facility to do this?
Yeah, you go to PSI testing
Right.
over in
That's what I figured.
over by the hospital.
Yeah. So I did like my drone license. So I think it's probably a pretty similar. Like you have
Probably
to go
so.
and take So how long are these? Like how long are we talking test wise?
State portion was 45 questions, and I believe the national portion was 90.
Yeah. So if you're looking to get into real estate, whatever it is, I'm slouching, man. Good thing you can't see it on audio, right? But I need one. but yeah, so if that's something you're interested in, you can get a hold of Mark. He'll help you out a little bit.
Absolutely.
Or if you're selling a house, get a hold
Yes,
of Mark.
please.
But,
I'd love to help anybody. And I treat real estate so much differently than I think a lot of local agents do. I am not going to pester you into giving me your house. I'm not about that. I've never been about that. I can't do that. I just hate it. For those people that keep calling and calling and calling and calling, and they're all on Facebook, like, list with me. If you want to list with me, 5 Facebook posts is not going to do it.
Right.
If you're going to list with me, it's going to be a phone call. So call me. Ask me, like, why I'm different, or, I'll tell you why I'm different than other agents and everything like that. But, like, it's different in the fact of, like, most agents will advertise, yeah, sign with me, list with me, whatever. I'll go and say, listen, you want to see this house? Ask me questions. What do you think about the house? What do you think the value is? I know what I think the value is, but I want to know your opinion. And then we'll go from there. I don't ask, like, you want to buy it?
Yeah.
Like, you down sign papers today?
And there's people
no,
like
it's
that
not about,
that are-
yeah. If you're about the commissions, then yeah, you're all about just getting the paper signed. But if you truly care about where they're going and what they're doing with that house, whether it's going to be a forever home, whether it's going to be a rental home, it all kind of factors in with that. And I like helping people getting that forever home, or I like the 80-year-old grandfather that just may have come out of a nursing home and he got his own house again. That was cool. But there's a lot of good stories with it too.
Yeah.
So, but not every real estate agent is the same, to go back to that.
Right. And I think that's something that's important is, you can kind of tell the quality of any job is really like that, but especially with something where it's commission based, you can tell when someone's trying to, hopefully you can tell. Some people can't, and
You can.
Yeah.
You absolutely can. Sorry. She just had Lorenzo.
But yeah, you get people that you can clearly are like, okay, you're like, I kind of like the house. Like, all right, what are we doing? Like, let's do it right now.
Like, if somebody doesn't go in, and I've had it happen, 9 times out of 10, if somebody doesn't go in and they're like, oh my God, I love this, then it's not gonna happen. They're not that interested. If you're spending that much money on a house, far be it from me to stand in the way and pester you to buy that house.
Right.
Because then you're just gonna be in a living hell, because you're gonna hate it. It's not gonna be what you want. And so, to me, it's different. And like I said, not every real estate agent's the same. I have a lot of friends in the area that are real estate agents, and they don't think that all real estate agents are the same either. But just depends on who you get, I guess.
Yeah, it's all, and I like, what I didn't realize about the real estate side of stuff is, like, if it is something that, if you just put, like, if you want to be a real estate agent, you can go do it. It's not instant, but it's
all you need is
a
a high
lot
school
easier.
diploma.
Yeah, it's a lot easier than going to college for 4 years, and you can do it and have another job.
And
right?
by the time that you're done getting your real estate agent license, your sales license, it's 120 hours of coursework. So actually, it's up there with some majors
Right.
that you work for. Now, you can get it done in 2 weeks, and it's not exactly the same. And obviously, you don't get a diploma, but you can still make a substantial amount of money
Right.
with that little licensure there. I mean, you sell a $500,000 house with a 6% commission, you're talking a nice chunk of change.
Exactly.
And so even $100,000 house, that's $6,000.
Yeah.
So,
and I've seen some kids. I guess we're almost kids still. We're a little older, but
I'm more kid than
right.
you.
Yeah.
What are you, 24?
22.
22? You're 22?
Yeah.
I'm 22.
Oh, well. Yeah, beat it. Actually, I'm going to be.
That's right. I'm 5'6".
Oh, wait,
I still
no.
look like a little kid.
I'll be 23 when this airs. So.
Ah, okay. Well,
Actually, I've got 2 more days here of 22, and I don't even feel like this year was so stupid. Like
I
don't
honestly
feel like I was
the
like
last year was just
22. I could have just like thrown out. Like
Yeah.
I don't remember much from it. Where I'm like, oh yeah, I remember this when I was 22. Like
That's too funny.
But yeah. So I'll be a little older.
See, I keep thinking you're older because Dalton's older than me.
See, he's 23.
He's 23.
October, right? October something.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sorry, Dalton.
No, but yeah, October something. I thought 13th, maybe 17th, something like that.
The only one I got to remember is Cam's.
Right.
And I remember it now.
Why do you remember that one?
There was an incident there. I remember.
Yeah,
On the whole whiteboard, I didn't write it down.
we witnessed.
Everybody witnessed. But no, I mixed it up with my sons. But
That's okay.
Wrong month, right day.
Oh, well, that's fine then.
We'll fill it in.
To a guy. You're
If
fine.
I had like a third of it,
Yeah. See, I think that's where there's like women are just so like they love like the details, like details, and guys are just more like whatever,
nonchalant.
just get it done, whatever. But,
yeah.
But that's that's so funny. I remember that trip was something.
That trip was something. I had a great time with that trip. That was like
Yeah.
my first time meeting half of you guys.
Right. Yeah.
Remember that doesn't know we're talking about our.
We had a cabin trip
Hocking Hills
last
cabin trip.
last month.
It was like mid-December.
19th. Yeah, and we drank a lot of apple juice there.
We did drink a lot of apple juice. Good apple juice. It was really good apple juice.
Yeah, but yeah, so that was a good trip. But yeah, I think it was just it was so interesting. I took these college courses for the real estate stuff, and it's some coursework, but if that's something that you're like, and if you like want to get into sales, even if that's just like that's a pretty easy way to do it.
Oh God, yeah.
And still make it like there's other easy ways to get into sales where it's like.
That's one of the easiest ways to jumpstart your sales career is to have that on your resume that you were a sales agent in the state of Ohio and you went through, the board of realtors and the licensure and the classes and everything. Okay, well, you already have a pretty good foot in the door with how to deal with mortgages. And, I mean, you don't necessarily deal with mortgages like firsthand, but you know how to get your client pre-approved and all that stuff for a loan. And companies see that. Companies like that. The work history that you've had, especially if you're going to go to another sales job. Well, if you were a sales agent, it only can help, right?
Well, and I think especially with the real estate side of it, you could without a college degree, you can go and be like a sales agent. You can go like Verizon.
Oh yeah,
and it's a good sales job. Verizon's actually a better example, but there are these like Vector knives.
Yeah.
And like these like other companies are like just push sales on your friends and family, and then you like put that, and it's like but like real estate is like you can make some money doing it. It's not too hard to get started with.
You can go anywhere in the state of Ohio,
and it's not all just sales, really. I mean,
no,
if you're taking, you can do the appraisal. You can do
the appraisal is done by the bank,
right? Or you learn about it. I'm
learn
still
about
in that process.
No, you're okay. You learn about it, but you can do what's called a fair market evaluation.
Yeah.
And that's basically, it's not a bank sealed appraisal.
Okay.
And it's not a bank approved appraisal, but it's like my opinion of what the house will bring. Usually, good agents can get it pretty close with. They do comparables and everything like that. So.
And now, when you started out, what were some of the things in your first few sales? Or your whatever. What were some of the first few things you like learned that like you didn't necessarily learn in the coursework or whatever, but you're like, oh, okay, that's a thing. Like I needed.
You want a story?
Sure.
I got a story.
Yeah.
My first client, Very first house I ever had, very first listing I ever had, very first transaction I ever did. I don't know how it got to a closing table, but it did. So, had this lady. She lived in my neighborhood. The house was right across the road, and so I could keep an eye on it every day, and my sign was out front. Had people call, and everybody wanted to see it. So I was like, hey, it's time for showings. I was like, are we ready? Like, house clean? Like, we're good? She's like, I don't want to get up today. She's like, the laundry's in the hallway. Just maybe tomorrow. I said, excuse me?
What?
I was like, why? I was like, do you want to sell your house? I was like, I want to sell your house. I was like, is this not my job? So I went back to my broker. I was like, what do I do? I was like, this wasn't in the book. I was like, how do I get a client out of their house? She's like, you can't. She's like, you're going to learn things that the class has no business teaching you.
Yeah.
And she's right. And my broker is Brenda Millison, and she's a great lady, and she's helped me through a lot too. So big thanks to her. But she told me that you will learn so much outside the classroom, and she's right. So, but anyway, back to that story. What I learned from that listing was to never help a client move out again, and all the way to Zanesville for that matter.
Yeah.
From Cambridge.
Yeah.
Not all clients will be equal, which I kind of knew that going in, but this solidified that. It also proved to me that not everybody cares. And in a way of like, yeah, you've got a house for sale, all that good stuff, blah, blah, blah. But like inside that house was massive amounts of cat pee. And there was just litter everywhere. And so how are you going to sell a house if people are coming in and they have to wear their shoes?
Yeah.
Like there is no like, please don't take your shoes off. It's please keep your shoes on. So, but we had a buyer. He came through. It was actually the guy right across the street, and they turned it into their forever home. And it was just really cool to get them in there like that. And the guy that moved in across the street, his dad lives across from him, and they see the grandkids every day.
Oh, yeah.
So it was just really cool to get them in a house that literally worked perfectly for them.
Right.
So, and they redid everything. They got nice hardwood flooring down. They repainted everything. The sunroom is beautiful. So, and no cat pee.
Yeah.
No cat pee.
That's good. I'm allergic to cats, so my dad has cats now.
So yeah, that was my spiel for like what I've learned. You can keep every transaction is different. I mean, I've had deals where I've had to deal with lawyers because the money came from a trust fund, and everything had to be signed by the lawyer. I couldn't do anything basically on my own without the dude right next to me going, "Okay, yeah, that looks good." And so I was like, "All right, well then just sign your name." But every deal is different. And like right now, I'm dealing with a guy from New Jersey. And New Jersey is an attorney signing state, which means that attorney has to be present when signing legal documents of like a residential housing, commercial housing, things like that. Ohio is not. And so he asked me, he's like, what's a real estate lawyer that you recommend? I was like, are you suing me? I was like, we haven't even come to a deal. I was like, what did I do wrong? He's like, no. He's like, I would just like representation. I was like, I've never had a lawyer come to closing. He's like, really? I was like, we're not one of those states. He's like, oh, very cool. So he just didn't understand that like he could come sit with me and I could do everything that like the lawyer was doing. Not that I'm like a lawyer. Yeah. But I can still put all the documents together for the house.
You took the classes. You got the power.
The only thing that I don't necessarily do as the real estate agent is I don't like do the title work. There's a title company that does title work and then obviously the appraisals and things like that. But what I do is I get the contract together, get the inspections together, get the property disclosures together, which is kind of like if there's been any property damage in like the history of the house or the whatever property it is. Yeah. Whether it was like a septic tank that exploded or something like that. God, I hope that doesn't happen. God, that'd be terrible. But haven't had that happen yet. Things like that. And when you do like a for sale by owner type deal, you have to do all that yourself. And so that's kind of like what a real estate agent does is kind of takes out like the middleman of the contracts, gives them to me. All you have to do is sign. I'm going to be the explainer. I'm going to be the guy that does all the paperwork back and forth. The only thing I'm going to need is your signature and understanding. So yeah, that was my first house, and it was a doozy, but you know, still made a little bit of money off of it. And once you finally get that check, it's like,
now how does the payout? Is it
so
like 2 weeks, or like is there like a?
You don't get paid until after closing or the day of closing.
Yeah, so
you
like
have to get to the closing table.
Do they just pay? Does that go?
Usually it
straight to
comes
you?
in like a form of a check.
Okay,
and then depending on what's your brokerage policy and everything like that. Usually the brokerage takes a cut.
Right.
And then you get like 75%, 80%, 90% of it. Depending on, because it could also depend like that. The guy I'm dealing with from New Jersey right now, he's buying a house in St. Clairsville. Even just county to county, it's a little bit different. So it's a 60-40 split. And it's not 50-50, it's 60-40. So it can be different 2 doors down, or it can be the same. And that's kind of why I think it's a little bit cooler. Not that, obviously, it's not cool that I'm losing a little bit more money, but you can kind of, if you own your own brokerage, you can do your own thing.
It's a lot like, you're almost like a free agent. Like, I guess you literally are a free agent.
Yeah, you're a personal contractor.
Right. And so, you have like, instead of like being like, all right, well, I'm going to go work here. It's like, you can go and look around. You can find different brokerages and be like, okay, what do you offer?
Sure.
What do you offer? And you really get to make that decision per se, and then they'll, do you get like an interview? Some of them do.
Kind of, sort of. I mean, the first brokerage that I was at did interview me, and it was Homeland Realty. And they interviewed me, but it was like, I already knew I was going to get it, so it wasn't necessarily an interview. It was just kind of like meet and greet. So, but there's other brokerages that are like, listen, I'll pay for your school, but you got to come work for me for a year.
Right.
Which is great. I mean, that's how most agents get their license, because school's like $1,200 to $1,500 by the time it's all said and done. And that's courses, books, and everything. But if they'll pay that for you, all you got to do is sell one house, and it
pays for
itself.
Yeah, and that's kind of like my master plan is like. So I've done the coursework. I got to do the test and everything. But when you buy that first house, you can, you're making money off that literally.
Sure.
Or you can put it towards your down payment, whatever you want.
Yeah.
But, that cost pays off for itself, even if it's just you doing it for yourself one time. Yeah, you really got to be a weird kind of person to just want to do it for that, for that reasoning. But that's not the only reason I did it. But
no,
if it was, now you got coursework and you save money on your house, but,
right?
But
to get a little bit more knowledge on the whole process.
Right.
But I spent $1,500.
Yeah, I did it. No, the idea though is like you're gonna make that money back fairly. Not depends on person to person, but you're gonna make it back fairly quickly compared to.
And like I said, you get a $100,000 listing, and you do make the 6%.
Yeah.
Even if the brokerage takes a 25% cut, you're still making around $4,500.
Right. And, for as involved as like a college can be, or as involved as like starting a business can be, and that kind of stuff, going into real estate it's a good way to get started if you were thinking, okay, well, I don't want to wait 5 years to do this, or
right.
It's a good middle ground between like doing nothing.
Yeah.
And,
the minimum requirements,
doctor, right? So.
The minimum requirements for a real estate agent is high school diploma, and you got to be 18. Mm-hmm. That's it. Okay. Yeah, I can. If I can save up $1,500 and I can go take the classes and everything else, sure.
Right.
Why would you not? There are fees and stuff because you do have to get sponsored by a brokerage before you can become an agent and everything like that. But I'll pay $100 in fees a month if I can make $5,000.
Right. It just makes sense, and obviously, like not everyone wants to do it, but if you're in between, you're like, I don't really know what I want to do. Why not? You don't have to do it forever.
Right.
You can go back.
You can put your license on deposit
or
and come back
do
in a
what
year.
you're doing, and you can go to college while you're doing it.
Yep. And it's like a little side gig. It's not my full-time job. I know it's not my full-time job, but I've went a little while without having like a house sale or anything, but I'm not gonna like struggle if I don't get it, because I do have the detailing on as like a full-time thing. So any money that necessarily kind of comes in like commission wise from that is like extra.
Right.
And so if I've got like extra bills to pay, or this past Christmas, I can, use a little bit of that money from that, and it doesn't have to all come out of the detailing fund. So I can invest more back into that. And it's always nice to have a side hustle.
Right.
And it doesn't necessarily have to be considered a side hustle. It can be like your side job, but it's always good to have more than one stream of income, because if that ever gets cut off, what are you going to do?
Yeah. And, some like with a side hustle, it could be a hobby that turns into something that's making you money. I mean, just even getting out there and branching out into different things, diversifying, obviously we'll get way into that with stuff, but making sure you have those different revenue sources, or even if you're starting out, if you're in high school, if you're in college still and you're not hurting too bad or whatever, you can go and do your college work, and then maybe as a hobby, that's kind of what I did. Like with this was going to college. I didn't know what I really wanted to be at that point, but
Sure.
I was going for like engineering, something stupid that I hated. And, but it sounded cool, but I was just doing like video stuff on the side, and I'm like, oh, this is fun. Like, this is so fun to do. And that turned into what I do basically full time now is video work. And it just started from being like a hobby.
It's crazy how life works.
Yeah.
Sometimes.
And so, even just having hobbies that you do outside of your main thing or outside of your professional life, those can always turn into something. I mean, you see a lot of almost every YouTuber, it was probably a hobby at one point, and some of the biggest.
Yeah. No, I tried the whole vlog thing.
Yeah.
Got like 7 subscribers.
It's tough. It's tough. You really got to like power through.
You do, because there's that wall that everybody says comes at like 500 subscribers where you'll get like 501 for like 3 weeks.
Yeah.
And it's like, what am I doing wrong? Well, no, it's just because then your videos have moved down in publicity. And so, but they'll move you back up once you start to get a couple more subscribers and traction and everything like that. But no, it's actually YouTube that moves you down.
Yeah.
So it's not actually you.
It's all algorithmic. It's all algorithmic.
That's right. And they take, the top grossing videos that they think.
Yeah.
And we'll put them at the top.
Watch time.
There you go.
Whatever keeps people on their platform.
That's right.
It'll be up there.
Whatever keeps those eyes on the screen.
Yeah.
They'll do it.
That's
They'll do it.
Yeah. And so yeah, I mean, if you wanted to do something YouTube wise, like and we don't really, the good thing with us is at first before I really even started doing like the business side of everything, I really wanted to be like a YouTuber. I'm like, I'm going to make like whatever videos. And I got a few subs, whatever, but it would take so long to do. And in my head, I started like making videos for people, and they would pay me.
Sure.
Now I was still like 19, whatever, and they'd give me like $50, like a gig, just like go do it, whatever. And in my head, I'm like, well, $50 here for this guy is like 50,000 views on YouTube. So not everything has to have a ton of views for it to be the same value.
Yep.
Now, obviously, if you have 1 million views a video, that's like way worth it.
Right.
But
it's actually really hard to make money on YouTube, and it doesn't come from the views.
Yeah,
it comes from like the endorsements and the paid advertising,
and T-shirts and all that stuff.
Your own branding, self-branding, that's big too. The whole self-image on the channel and all that. I mean, Lorenzo watches this kid named Ryan, and he's like 9. The kid's on Forbes list at like 24.5 million. I was like, are you kidding me? I was like, Lorenzo, grab the camera.
Right.
I was like, we're going to start unwrapping toys just like this kid. I was like, we'll make millions.
And see, even with that kid, like, unless his parents have like a really good grasp on like everything, I mean, that's like a scary way to grow up. Like,
kind of, I mean, right in front of the camera all day long.
Because that's you're on as a kid. And now I get like opening stuff's fun, but like, I like to think of like imagine like these sponsor like
coming in and like, listen, you need to do it exactly. Like
they're like, here, we'll give you this toy if you open it, and he'll open it and like on camera he's like, this sucks, and they're like, no, say it's good, and he's like, I'm so happy, and you're like, he's like 5.
Yeah. And the kid's got his own TV show now. The kid's on Amazon Prime. He's on obviously YouTube. He has his own toy collection.
Yeah.
And now I think they're doing something like Ryan's Gummies or something. Like it's gonna have his face.
Is that with like the states that have legalized marijuana?
No, not like that. Like a vitamin, you fool.
I'm kidding. Could you imagine? Like a 7-year-old's like, here, man.
Is this my gummy? This doesn't look like my vitamin. Oh, that's because it might not be. But no, the kid's literally getting a vitamin made out of his face. And he's 9. Making $24.5 million a year.
Billions of views.
He's up there with like Baby Shark. Like with all his videos.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
At
9 years old.
Yeah. But that all kind of like, there's a lot of YouTubers, and there's not a lot of money in it. But there's a lot of YouTubers that have like just a small, and by small, like it's still not small, but like 50,000 subscribers.
Oh yeah.
To some people you're like, well, that's kind of small. Some people, they're like, that's massive. I wish, but you could still have that size of an audience and still make money.
Right.
And there's some that have 400,000 and don't make anything. It just depends on what your content is and all that. But from our business perspective, I thought of it as like, well, if I can go film a school for $350, that's 300. Every dollar is 1,000 views basically. Sure. Essentially, so for their payouts, it depends. So like if you're doing like toy content, those guys make a lot of money because like people are watching so many ads with it and they pay more on them.
You know how many 40-year-olds do Toy review now for my son?
Probably
I'm
a lot.
like, we're gonna go back to that kids channel.
But so you think of that, you're like, really, that's like 350,000 views. But you got to also look at it as that's only 350,000 views. Whereas a video, once you post it to YouTube, is up until you take it down.
Right.
So if you have like videos that are getting like 5,000 views, whatever, and you're like, well, it's only $5, whatever. If you do get big, then you could probably, you could make a video a week, but people are still going to go back, watch your old videos. And at some point it becomes so...
It just doesn't stop.
Yeah.
The views don't necessarily stop coming in.
You've got so many different videos out that, it doesn't matter if you're making a video every day. That's like PewDiePie. I mean, he says he's retired from YouTube or whatever. He still makes videos, but
and a ton of money
he could stop. I mean, he wants, he's very different than most of them because he'll stop and like, I don't want to say he's different because like he's very like normal, but he could just stop making videos right now and he would still make millions of views a day, for years probably. Like just the amount of like he has content out from like 2008, almost a video a day up to about 2016. And
that's just wild.
The amount, and once you find someone new that you've never seen, you watch like 7 or 8 every day. Like,
right.
It's just a funnel.
Oh yeah, like you pick up on a new channel and you're like, oh, I like this kid, and you're scrolling through and you find videos that you think would appeal to you, but in the end, it's still it tallies up their total views.
Right.
It doesn't matter what video you watch. Doesn't matter if it's their latest video.
Yeah.
It's still just
and that's what's just mind blowing is, the different ways that like social media and pop culture now is so different from what it used to be compared to like YouTubers now are like celebrities used to be in like the 90s and 80s and stuff where it was like,
oh yeah, they have a ton of influence.
Yeah. And we were like, our age group was we were that group that saw it go from everyone that's a celebrity is crazy cool, YouTubers are weirdos, to now they're the biggest celebrities in the world.
Oh yeah, and everybody knows them.
Yeah,
everybody knows them.
Yeah, and so we were around for obviously every generation has their transitions that you're like, oh, I was around for but we've got some weird ones. I mean, like with the COVID stuff.
Oh yeah,
we're here for that. We're gonna see how that ends up. That story to be continued
for that one.
Right, but we had, for me, we weren't necessarily. We were kind of part of that technological boom where like I remember as like a 4 or 5 year old
like end of it.
Yeah, so my mom's like, here's a cell phone and I'm like, whoa, like I
remember my first flip Verizon phone. My mom had a BlackBerry. I played that one game that you did it was like a crossword puzzle, but you used like the little ball as the mouse and you like could roll it back and forth. I was like, Mom, your BlackBerry is like so advanced. I was like, this is crazy. I was like, I flipped open my phone and took a picture of it. Crazy.
I had a slide so I could text.
Oh yeah,
I was all about
my
that.
God, that would like revolutionize texting because I would be like beep beep beep. All right, there's my C.
Yeah, that's so crazy. Is people don't, obviously it's still around, not at all really, but like people don't realize you had used to hit like buttons.
Texting was garbage.
You had to
you actually had to call your significant other if you wanted to have a conversation.
Yeah. And I remember I got the Alias 2, which was so cool because I could flip it up.
Oh, yeah?
It's like a flip phone, but then I could flip it sideways, too. And so I could text, and then someone stole it. And then
really?
It was some kid in like middle school, and we found it like destroyed in front of the parking lot. But so I don't know what happened there. But
my dad had a Droid, like the very first one that came out. And it made that like droid sound. Everybody was like, "Whoa!" I was like, "That's a droid." And everybody like knew it because it made that sound. I was like, "This thing sucks." I was like, "This is terrible." Yeah. And then finally, they came out with like the first generation iPhone, and it was terrible too. But they
revolutionary.
They advanced a lot further than Droid did. I can tell you that.
Yeah. And what do you think about now? You got a 3-year-old, so you'll have to start thinking about this. But what about like the phone?
Don't ask me.
When's the kid getting a phone?
Kid's got a phone.
Oh,
it don't make calls or anything, but like he's got one. He's got a 6.
I tell myself like, and I'm not a parent, so I don't know, but
his is more of like a toy,
like a Fisher Price kind
but
of
it's
deal.
still no. It's an iPhone. It's an iPhone 6.
See, no, okay, all right.
No, he truly does have an iPhone 6, and the reason we got him that was it was actually my mom's old work phone. So she was gonna keep it anyway.
Yeah.
And so I was just like, yeah, you use it, whatever. Like, and I put some learning games on it or whatever if he ever played with it. But he liked taking pictures.
Right.
So he would just go around the house and he would just hold it in front of him as he was walking, going. I'm like, bud, what are you doing? He's like, picture. And it was
Okay.
just like it was just different poses of him just walking through the kitchen. I was like, all right, whatever. I was like, it's got like 32 gigs of memory on it. I was like, you'll be able to store like 10,000 pictures of just your face.
And see, my sister got her two twins. They're 6. Oh gosh, they're 6. Almost 7. Actually, it's something in January that she's gonna kill me. But yeah, they just got phones like for Christmas.
Yeah.
And they're not real phones, but they're like they're
Like a jitterbug type deal?
she can text or they can text like whoever they let them text and all that stuff.
Yeah.
But it's scary, man. Like, and see now 3, they're just walking around taking pictures, and that's the same thing. Like they had tablets their whole lot. Like,
yeah,
same thing.
But they're like, my son can work his iPad better than my 78-year-old grandmother.
Right.
Or however old she is.
Yeah.
But
It's all about growing. It's the brain development, and growing.
and it's
up
not
with
like
it.
he came out with an iPad in his hand. He obviously for me, he had to earn it and everything, and he did. But he's got learning games on it and everything too. But it's the same thing with the iPhone 6 that he has. He just goes around really taking pictures, and he'll sit at the counter and watch some of his like music videos that he likes to listen to before like breakfast or whatever, and before we go to school or stuff like that. But like also on it, it can be a really good tool because he's got like games that allow him to trace letters. And so he can learn with that, and he counts, and he's got this blast off game where he counts down from like 10, and he screams every time the rocket launches. So I know when he gets it. But no, actually, it can be a really good tool if it's used in the right way. But like if he's on it for too long, and I know he's on it for too long, he'll start sitting there like this. Yeah, and he's sitting there like looking at the screen. I was like, all right, like it might be time to get up. And I was like, it's only been 15 minutes, but like you're done.
Yeah.
So he's never on it more than like. I think I set his timer at like 35 as like a max.
Yeah, because they got these phones, and they were like, and it's how they're built. Like even for, it's not just kids, it's adults too. Like we're all addicted to our phones, like
in some way.
Right.
So. Cam tells me all the time to get off it. I'm like, Cam, I got clients calling me.
Well,
it's important.
I get that part, and it's just so like they're designed. Not even necessarily that we're all addicted to them per se. Some people are. But they're designed to be addicted.
They're designed to be like that.
They're designed to like make you want to be on it more.
Well, you can have anything you want on it.
Right.
You can have a game. You can go order food. You can make a phone call. You can text your friends. Mm-hmm. I mean, what can you not do on a phone? You can trade stocks.
Literally.
You can make money.
Yeah, you can do anything.
Social
Literally
media marketing.
Anything. Yeah.
So.
And it's nice. It's very nice. But you can tell like from a primal perspective of like, how we're designed as humans. And now I'm getting into stupid Joe Rogan-y sounding stuff. But
no, but you could, I mean, when we went to the cabin in Hawking, Cam and I kind of left our phones for like,
there wasn't a lot of internet out there.
No, there really wasn't. And how many of us, like 15 of us out there on the Wi-Fi just didn't work very well.
No.
But so we were just like, let's just put them up for a couple of days.
And I kind of like the cabin trip for that reason. Is the first time we went on that, and I told this story already, so I won't tell everyone on the podcast on another episode. But we went and we didn't have internet, and it was like the first time since starting my business, like I wasn't like connected, like and like always in.
It's weird, isn't it?
And I was like, oh, this is kind of nice. Like
now
when you get back, you're like,
like, but like for that time being, you're like, well, like can't talk to anybody.
You're like, what am I gonna do? You know, and so
I literally can't do anything.
Yeah, and it's very nice. And these kids got these phones, and they were just instantly just like the day of on it, just all the time, and.
I was like, how did you even do that?
Yeah.
Like, I couldn't even figure out how to open mine when I first got it. Like, my iPhone, I was like, oh, it's a passcode.
Now it's my face.
Dude. The whole Face ID thing, I smashed my phone actually getting out of the Cambridge truck lot, and it was a gravel lot. My phone landed face down like this, stepped right on it, and it was like right on a stone. So, like, literally, it punctured a hole.
Yeah.
I could see through my phone, like, through the screen and everything. And I had to get, like, Sam at the mall helped me get a new screen, and then I had to get another new screen that I was the whole waiting at for my COVID test thing. I had to get another new screen, but like my Face ID doesn't work anymore because I smashed the ribbon behind it.
Mine's cracked. I don't know if you can see up here.
A little bit. Yeah.
I put some tape on it so it's like smooth. It works. Like,
I'm sure it does.
But my Face ID doesn't. And this was like last week. I can't Face ID now, and I'm like, I have to wait on it. I have to open it. It'll say, "Show your face."
Wait till you have to start entering in all your passwords.
No, I do.
Do you?
For Robinhood.
I'm like, no. I'm like, oh my God, I don't even remember my password. I had to change like 4 passwords because I just scanned my face.
I like couldn't get in my bank account. I'm like,
I was getting scared. I was like, I can't access like my bank.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, so you can only get me by my face now? I was like, if that's the case, I'm just going to go to the actual branch office and you can just deposit my money that way.
Right. But no, it broke. And so now like it's so like you wait, you open it, you're like, okay, I don't have, like I know it. And I'm sure I can like disable it, but I haven't got to that point yet where I'm like, and so I wait and then I type in my number, whatever. And then I'm sitting there, and that's like I was like, I'm gonna get on Robinhood, and I haven't like we'll talk about stocks here, but I haven't done a lot of stock trading since I got my car because I literally put money in the stock market and like let it sit there as a savings account to buy the car. So then I took it all out, and now we're here. And but like I went to log in and like look at stuff. And I'm like, I don't. What do I do now? Like, I can't just look at it.
No, and like. I was trying to get into like my bank app and I entered the password wrong and it was like, you have 3 more attempts before you're locked out. I was like, dude, I just tried it the first time. I was like, give me a break. Just because you can't see my face doesn't mean it's not me. But
how about that?
By the way, stocks are old. By the way,
old news.
Need to get into crypto.
Oh, I've been in crypto. I've been around it. Now, I wish I was in it more than I talked about it a lot. I did. How about the one guy? Speaking of password attempts, the one guy that has 2 more tries on his $250 million Bitcoin account before he's logged out of it.
I haven't seen that.
So I don't know the full story, but I'm guessing like he had it from like a long time ago and he just like bought some when it was pretty cheap.
Yeah, and now he's trying to get back into it.
He's like, oh, it's $40,000 and 2 attempts left. He said
I'd be hiring a whole legal team.
I'm pretty sure it was up to like $250 million is what it was at. And he's like, I got 2 more attempts until I couldn't imagine.
So sick.
I couldn't. What do you do? Like, because the good thing with crypto is like it's all like blockchain and
everything's secure. But it's real secure.
It's secure to a fault.
Oh
it's
God,
like,
yeah.
Now what do I do? You can't go to your Bitcoin bank and hey, I don't know my password.
And I moved all my stuff offline too.
Yeah,
I have
you have
offline wallet.
What's that called?
Ledger.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. I have a Ledger, and all my crypto is in like my storage.
Yeah. Now, how does the Ledger work?
Ledger is literally like a wallet, like like you have a wallet, I have a wallet. This one is basically like a USB drive that is a wallet. So plug a wire into the end of it, plug it into your computer. You can send your crypto to that ledger, and once you unplug it, it's offline.
Okay.
Now, you can turn it on and everything. You can see all your stuff, and on my app and everything, I can see how much it's worth and all that good stuff. But no one can access it but you. Comes with a 26-word recovery. Like sentence. It kind of all forms one sentence, but it's just a bunch of it could be like rabbit, hole, bug, and in that order. And because if you lose your ledger, this is the only way to get it back. You have to present those 26 words in that specific order, or you will not access that crypto, and it's gone forever.
Yeah.
So it's crazy. It's literally like stuff out of a movie. So like I'm hoping. Like if I like pass away or something like when I'm like 95 and my son gets my ledger, he's like, "What is this?"
Oh, no.
Like my dad was hiding money on a USB drive.
Yeah. No, so 2016, I want to say, maybe 17. I was in college, and so I didn't have a lot of money. Like I was into it. Like I was like, dude, like crypto's big, like Bitcoin and Litecoin, and like I was all about it. And hindsight always, but.
I think my first Bitcoin buy was at like $2,600.
Oh, that's nice.
I still have it saved.
I remember talking to Dalton and Stemmer, and this might have been high school still. Yeah. But I didn't know a ton about it, but I had heard about it. But I think it was like $500, and I was like, "This is gonna be big." And but of course, I don't have money to like put into it. But like, oh, whatever. Yeah.
My so. The first like big crypto boom that happened in 2017, where everybody just made a ton of money because Bitcoin went to like $20,000.
Right.
the day that it boomed and that the day that everybody caught traction and everything, the day before my son, we were in labor and everything. It was December 11th and he was about to come out and all that good stuff. And I purchased like 10 Litecoin.
Right.
Overnight.
Litecoin.
Overnight, I was like, I went from like $100 deposit and it was like $2,300. I was like,
yeah.
Whoa. I was like, what's this? I was like, that's not stocks. I was like, that's not a 10% return on the year. That's like 150% return in 6 seconds.
Yeah.
So that's what kind of caught me. And that's what kind of gave me the bug.
I think had I not started this and needed money to start this, I think I'd be, so what we were going to go to the AFC playoff game, championship game, like whatever year it was, I think it was 17 when the Steelers played the Patriots. But the way I had that money, Litecoin. I bought like 4 or 5 of them at like $40.
That's awesome.
and I sold it like 300 or something.
I was
going to
say, I think I threw in like $150, and I was just like, we're gonna go to bed, and like he's gonna be here in the morning. And I was like, it's cool.
I love Litecoin. I don't care. Like
it's
an interesting little stock.
It's still rolling.
Stock. Yeah, it's crypto, but it could be a stock. Whatever, same thing.
There'll be Bitcoin's getting on with Goldman Sachs this year, so hopefully, well, they're live on the stock market. You could trade a Bitcoin future,
right?
But you can't trade like the actual coin. Now you can go on Coinbase and do all that stuff too. You make your Coinbase account and trade crypto right off there, but the fees are what kill you.
Right.
Because it's like 5% of whatever your transaction.
Yeah, and I think that's what, I don't remember. I think Coinbase was what I started with because I don't think Robinhood had it. And then at some point Robinhood got it. Crypto. And so I had Robinhood, but I didn't have, so I had Coinbase for that and I was using it for like different stuff. But like I just like when it boomed and then it crashed, I was like, it'll go. Like you just got to. It's a mental game. Like,
this is actually supposed to be the year that another bull run happens.
Right.
So the time to buy, well, not Bitcoin,
no,
because it's at 40 grand. But well, let's see.
Right. It could be 600,000 in 3 years. Yeah.
I mean, the one that I have a fairly diversified portfolio in my crypto assets, and anybody that I advise usually has a diversified portfolio because you don't know which one's going to hit.
Yeah.
And I don't necessarily like advise people like I'm like their wealth strategist, but like I'll give like advice on like what I think would be good. And the way that my portfolio is set up is like, okay, that one might hit, but if it doesn't, I got this one. But if that one doesn't, I got this one. So it's all coins that I think have potential. It's not just like Dogecoin, like the Doge dog.
Do you like Dogecoin?
No, it has no purpose.
Don't like Dogecoin?
It doesn't have a purpose.
So get this little quick story tidbit, anecdote. Kraken, you know Kraken? Yeah. So I had my account with them or whatever, and I could withdraw X amount, but if you had less than, it was like $100 or $50 or something, you couldn't withdraw it. So I had like $30, and I was like, because I was done. Like I was done, and I think that's when Robinhood came out with like trading. So I like was moving everything there. Sure. And I had like $30, and I was like, Dogecoin.
You're kidding. Did you win?
Kinda. So if I would have had way more money, I really would have won. But
it skyrocketed.
Right. But my $30,
it just doesn't serve a purpose.
I got on. I look one day. I was like, it was like $200.
Think of it as like buying a blank piece of paper,
right?
And that blank piece of paper just printed off like $200 bills on it, and you get it back.
Yeah. No,
it's essentially what happened.
So like it was worth it. I mean, it was like 500% return, and like but I just had so little in it.
I'll tell you a story. We were on our way to Virginia, and I was trading in the car. I was like fairly new. It was like 2018, summer. I was like, crypto's gonna boom. Like we're gonna do this, blah blah blah. And so I'm really into this coin called Ripple.
Yep.
Because I think it serves a really big
XRP.
Yep.
Yeah,
I think it serves a really big purpose for overseas transactions. And the fact that they can wire money in 5 seconds to anywhere in the world, I think that's big. Bank of America has already implemented them. Goldman Sachs has implemented them, and so has what's that last big firm? I can't think of it, but that's all right. But anyhow, we were on our way to Virginia to see my aunt, and we were going through like Virginia Hills, mountains, whatever you call them, and was losing service in and out, blah blah blah. Well, at the meantime, I had bought like a fair amount at like 26 cents. Yeah. Right now we're hovering at like 65, whatever. And we were waiting on a news story to come out, and I was refreshing because they had just launched like their company, not as a security, because everybody was accusing them as being a security. Yeah. But they're not. But so we're waiting on that news story to come out, and we stop at a place called Biscuit World for breakfast. And as I'm inside Biscuit World, mind you, I do have service at this time.
Yeah.
While I'm in Biscuit World, I leave my laptop in the car. I'm like, what's 5 minutes? I was like, I'll go in and get a biscuit. We'll be all right. So I go in, come back out. This thing skyrocketed from like 60 cents all the way up to like 89 cents. I made like $4,000 literally in 5 seconds from the time that it went up to come right back down. I was like, I gotta sell. Laptop crashes, loses Wi-Fi, and in the end, I think I end up losing like a little over $6,000.
Right, and that's what's crazy about it is
like that.
You know, it's one of those things you're either like you don't have to be dedicated to it, but like you got to pay attention.
You have to pay attention,
right? And it's back to the mental thing. It's like, can you withstand? Like, are you ready for that? Like,
worst vacation ever.
You know, like with Bitcoin, you don't want to say it's safe, but like if you buy it at a low, you can assume it's probably going to go back up.
Yeah, I mean, if you can strategize like where your buy-ins are at, because all my buys are in at like 25 to like 27 cents.
Yeah,
for Ripple, and we've been above that every day. Like, there's been a couple days where we'll dip down there, but it's usually dipping for like people to buy back in,
right? And
then it goes right back up to like a stable like 29, 30 cents. And it did pop up a couple weeks ago up to like 80, 85 cents.
So what's it at now? Is it back to 20, 30?
36 or something.
Yeah.
So even though I haven't sold, I'm still in the profit. I'm just waiting.
Right.
I want to get a stockpile of that, because if what they're saying is going to happen, yeah, I'll throw in $150 for a chance.
Right.
I mean, to make however much money.
What's crazy with it is, you know, it's like penny stocks, but it's not. Yeah,
right.
Like it could anything could happen to it. You know.
Oh yeah, and it's so much more volatile than stocks. And once you, and this is my opinion, but once you take not necessarily the dollar figure out of it, but once you stop seeing money as like not necessarily like a material object, but like something like you have to survive.
Yeah,
it's a piece of paper.
Right.
Okay, that's fine. Are you like the whole 100? Like how I said I was going to spend 150 to make however much. Okay, you are, for the sake of argument, 20 years old, and you are investing $150. Are you really going to be that worried about that $150 like 10 years from now when it could be 1,000?
Right.
Now, I'm not saying it takes that long, and I'm not saying like everyone has $150, but at the same time, don't be scared to just, okay, yeah, you lost $150.
Right.
Okay, so what? Did you learn a lesson? Yeah. No, maybe not necessarily.
You got to be willing to part with you. It's got to be money that you don't. You can care about, obviously, but you got to not like. You need to go in with the expectation that this could be $0.
Correct.
You know, and
correct. It could go to zero any day.
Right.
You never put in,
and it could be instant. You don't
literally. I promise you, it can be instant. But you never put in more than you're willing to lose.
Yeah.
And for like first time traders, like obviously they don't necessarily get that. I didn't get that. I lost a ton of money, and it wasn't anybody's fault but mine. And so, you know, you do learn a lot of things down the road with crypto. I mean, every day is a learning experience, considering the fact that Bitcoin went from 19,000 to 42 in literally 3 days.
I wasn't paying much attention to it. Like I used to like really be into it.
Right.
Really, with how sports have been, I've just had no time to like. And then one day everyone's like, "Oh yeah, it's at like 32,000." I'm like, what?
The fact that it went, but, and it's not even the fact that it went to the 45,000. It's that some people that own like 1,000 coins at $20,000, they just had over a 200% return.
Yeah.
In 3 days,
and that's
unheard of.
Yeah, and that's not. You know, there's people that are. I don't know how. I don't know how you hold that long. But there's people that have bought in at like under $1,000, you know, and they're still holding, and they're like, oh yeah, like I just threw some money in it during college, like I thought it'd be cool or whatever, and now I'm a multi-millionaire.
Literally, that's exact. My friend from Muskingum, his name is Tyler. He, got into the.
What's his social address?
Yeah. No, he got into Bitcoin really, really early. He bought like when it was like cents, and just something to do.
Right.
You know, that he knew kind of like a little bit about it, and his friend had told him about it or whatever, and boom, he was like 20, 23, 24 at the time, millionaire overnight. Literally, millionaire overnight.
Right.
And the kid was like, what do I do?
Mom, Dad.
Well, I mean, and he invested in everything, and he invested for his parents and everything, but he's never got to work another day in his life.
Yeah.
That's it.
Literally.
He's done. If you can make a substantial enough, down payment, we'll call it.
Yeah.
The compounding of that after you keep compounding it and compounding it is insane. If you compound 10 grand, you're 20, compound 20, 40, compound 40, 80. Yeah. It just, once you get to that big enough level, instead of like, okay, $200 to $400, $400 to $800. Right. Yeah, it takes a while when you're that low, but if you get into like a little bit bigger money, it's pretty easy to keep it going.
Right. And that's, so even like with the stock market, I talk to Ethan about this all the time, is like, I think it's mind-blowing, because we were watching this video and this guy's like, yeah, we have people rent our island for like $70,000 a week. And I think I saw online, like in the comment section, right? So, you're getting into the good stuff. Yeah. But he was like, how do people afford like $70,000 a week for like, and it would be like for years. Mm-hmm. And they're like, why would they pay that? And then the guy was explaining, he's like, you got to realize, like, if you're like a multimillionaire, hundreds of
pocket change.
Literally that, but even, if you have a stock portfolio of millions, hundreds of millions, even billionaires, I think we did, like, if you're a 1 billionaire and you're making the average, it's like 7% a year. Is that the,
yeah,
it's like,
you got $1 million in an account that makes 7%.
That's $70,000 a year just to spend, like that's a salary.
That you didn't have to do anything. That's just interest.
And that's what we would always talk about, is like, if the average is 7%, and you're a billionaire, you make $70 million a year.
You don't have to work.
To do nothing.
The work does,
and that's what
it's all in the bank.
Like, you just, and that's why it's like, if you can get to that point where you have that $1 million, or even $1 million, like, don't even go to the extreme level of $1 billion.
You can start with 100,000.
Yeah.
Compound 100,000.
And that's $7,000 extra dollars a year that you didn't have.
Throw it right
on
back
average.
In. Compound 107.
Right.
Compound 114.
Mm-hmm. Well, it'd be more than 114. It'd be what?
Yep. It would.
It'd be like 120, like 128 almost. Yeah. So it really is about building a portfolio, and then if that's something that you're looking at in the stock or in the crypto is a little different, but
I think everybody should have some type of portfolio.
Right.
I don't think necessarily like the stock market is for everybody, because it is essentially like educated gambling.
Right.
But I mean, you can kind of figure out where it's going to go.
Yeah.
And that's why they have like Edward Jones and all these different financial goods, Fidelity, and people like that help you. But the real fun in it comes from like, oh, well, I put in like $50 and that's $1,200 now. And I did that on my own.
Right.
And once you it's hard to read charts. And people don't necessarily understand. It's not just looking at a picture, it goes up, down, up. Like, yeah, you can make the biggest educated guess you want. Mm-hmm. It can do the exact opposite. And I had that. I got plenty of stories for trades, but we were in, my friend Blake and I were in on this oil trade, and it was a shoo-in. Like, we were set. We were going to make so much money. Like, it had to happen. Oil went negative. I didn't know oil could go negative $37 a barrel.
When was that? I remember.
Not too long ago, but I lost a ton of money.
I remember. It was like college still, I think, right?
Uh-huh. It was during Trump's presidency.
Right.
It was only within like the last 2 years.
Yeah.
Who knew oil could go to negative $37 a barrel?
They were, some places, they were paying you to come in with an oil truck and take oil.
Oh, yeah.
They were like, we'll give you money. Just come take this oil. Like,
and then,
I remember that.
And so what they do on the market and everything when they're trading oil and crude oil, every day or every new rollover to like the next month is called a swap. And so the trade that we were in, it went literally like we were at like $12 a barrel, and we're like, okay, yeah, oil has to go back up. It's at $12 a barrel. And it just kept going down, down, down. So once it finally hit zero, obviously it was all cash out and everything else. But when it came back online like the next day that oil went live and you could trade it again, I made like I think it was like $21,400 in swap. Mm-hmm. They took out $21,500 in fees. So I still lost whatever I put in, and then obviously like all the swap too. So the potential of what I was going to make came out in the swap, and still I lost it. I lost like an extra $100 in fees or something like that. But
yeah. So what do you trade with? Do you use?
I use a bunch of different stuff. I mean, crypto's obviously my main,
right?
But I dabble
platform wise too.
Oh, platform. Platforms, I have a lot of those too. I use like Kraken, Coinbase.
Mm.
A lot of it is for like monitoring, but like everything's on my ledger now. So if I want to trade,
So you
I'll
can
move
keep
it.
more than one type of coin.
Yeah.
Okay.
You can keep almost any coin on ledger. They don't have
Because it's basically what it's just like a string of like numbers that you're putting, essentially.
Yeah, so like your
dumbed down version.
I mean, so your address that you send the crypto
Right.
to is a bunch of random letters and numbers, and it's like 24 characters long or whatever. But the ledger doesn't have necessarily the software for like all the coins. So like I do have another account called Bittrex.
Yeah.
And that's where that's where I keep some of my other coins on there for my portfolio.
That might have been. I forget. Yeah.
And it's simply because Ledger doesn't have the firmware
My
to support
ID's
that
everywhere.
coin. No, I know.
It's in.
I know.
I'm sure someone's using it in another country. For something, but.
For sure. I already know it's happening because we used to trade forex. Well, we still do kind of trade forex. Forex is the pricing of foreign currency.
Yes.
Whether you're trading that the European dollar compared to the U.S. dollar is going to go up or down, things like that. And we were using offshore brokers at the time because due to Dodd-Frank, which is a bill that was passed during the Clinton Foundation and everything else, due to Dodd-Frank, you could not have. Clinton administration.
Clinton
Sorry. Sorry.
That's a long term.
That is all, yeah. No, but like due to Dodd-Frank, you could not have an onshore forex broker that was 100-to-1 leverage, and the 100-to-1 leverage helps when you're trying to leverage your account on a small basis. So if you're using like $100, 100-to-1 is really, really good because each pip is like a penny.
Right.
Now if you're using a 500-to-1 leverage, each pip is $5. Okay. So you don't necessarily want to do that when you have a $100 account. So we were offshoring to like. We had one in like Czech. I think there was another one in like Slovenia that we were using. It was I couldn't understand anything. Like if you clicked a button, it came up with like Czech like words and everything. And you just had to like be like error, like good, bad, and you couldn't tell. But finally, they allowed U.S. brokers to come back on shore, and I used like Forex. Hugo's Way is another really good one. They don't have a lot of fees. HugosWay.com allows you also to trade Bitcoin, Litecoin, Ethereum, and Ripple. But fees for crypto on there are a lot. So each one kind of has their own crap about them. This one's got fees for crypto, but it doesn't have fees for Forex. Things like that. I have tons of different accounts, but Hugo's Way is probably my main one. Coinbase and TradingView for charts for crypto. Stocks, Robinhood, but I've also got a TD Ameritrade account.
Okay. Yeah, see, I've always been, when I was doing a lot of trading, I literally barely do like any now, but I was doing Robinhood. I think that I was like pretty early in Robinhood, like when they were they're like, it's free. I'm like, oh, sick.
Yep.
Yeah.
I remember the early stages of Robinhood before they went through with the whole crypto thing.
Right. Yeah,
it
crypto,
was all feeless
the
and
cards, the ATMs now and all that. I had I think I have a Robinhood card somewhere. I don't.
See, I never got a Robinhood card, but there was, when we actually went out to Vegas in 2018 for our trip, there was a Litecoin machine that you could trade in your Litecoins for cash, and it was like an ATM.
Yeah.
But you did it all through the touchscreen on the ATM. It was like, transfer 4 Litecoins for however much cash, and it like, spit out cash. And the best part about it was at this exotic rental car place. And the guy was like, how much you taking out? He's like, you want to rent one? And we're like 19. So unless you want to, but you gotta be 25.
Right. Yeah. And I remember, crypto, it was interesting. I mean, it's definitely like, it's still very new. Relatively.
Once it gets adopted.
Right. And I think that's what I think a lot of people are, you study a lot more than I do, but
Trump was big against it.
Right.
Because he didn't like the whole dark web type deal.
Yeah.
Because that's originally, if anybody doesn't necessarily know where crypto came from, Bitcoin was used
illegal,
for the dark web.
Yeah.
Drug
activities,
transfers,
all that stuff.
all that good stuff.
It's easy. You can just, here's my
because
money.
you can't trace them.
Right.
You can't trace any type of crypto because of the address that you're given for your wallet.
Right. And it's
so random. You
back to you have to know everything too. Like you have to know it.
Do you have two-factor authentication on yours? I was gonna say I have that too, and that's 6 digits that change every 30 seconds.
Right.
So there's no way you'd ever be able to.
So it's if that's something that's very like interests you, very interesting stuff. But
I think if anybody has any questions, they're more than welcome to ask me.
Reach out to him
They can
while he's
get on
detailing your car.
Get my social or my social media or something like that. But yeah, come talk to me while we're in the garage. I'll give you all the advice
I'll give you
I can.
the lowdown. You can stay the whole detail.
There you go.
Yeah.
No, but that's originally where all that crypto originated from, was the dark web. And that's why it didn't get the traction that it needed at first.
Right.
But then it wasn't just Bitcoin. It was Ethereum, and it was Litecoin, and then it was Litecoin Lite, and it was Ethereum Lite, and then it was Ripple, and it was just a bunch of the other altcoins that had started coming on the scene, and then anybody could make their own coin, Dogecoin.
That was happening a lot.
Oh yeah. Everybody was making their own because they all wanted a piece of the pie.
Right.
So, I mean, who won it? It's a ton of money.
Facebook has their own.
Facebook has their own coin. PayPal has their own coin now. And there's actually, I think Little Pump is making a coin. Yeah. And he's going to make it so, like, if you pay him in Little Pump coins, you can meet him and, like, game with him for, like, an hour.
Huh. And see,
I'm not sure what value is in
you
Little
could probably
Pump
speak
coins.
a little bit on this, too, is, like, there's a lot of different ways coins can find their value. But, like, what would someone make a coin like outside of like Lil Pump? Like, why is Dogecoin a thing? Why is outside of the meme? But
sure, no, that's fine. That's actually a really good question, because Blake and I, my friend Blake and I, were actually business partners, but we had talked about making a crypto. You need your own servers, you need your own web platform and everything else, and you have to have policy guidelines right up on the page. And so eventually we decided against it. But to put your own crypto together to make it worthwhile is you get to keep your however many you want. You can put however many you want into circulation. It's the same thing as stocks. You can keep, 5 million for yourself and put out 1 million for other people to buy. If you want to control 5 out of the 6 million that you put out, fine. If you want to pump it to $1 and it's at 34 cents, fine. You could do that when it was unregulated. Now that it's regulated, you can't do that.
Yeah.
So now, if you've noticed, there's not a lot more coins. The coins have slowly started to come on the scene, like less and less, and that's because nobody can, like, I'm gonna make 10 million, buy 9, sell 1 million, and then pump it to like $9, cash out. Yeah, can't do that anymore.
Well, and there's a bad side of that, but there's also a good side with the regulation. It's probably helping prices.
It's helping.
It's assuring the buyers.
It's helping prices, and it's also getting publicity.
Right.
Which is what we need.
And now with this recent spike in Bitcoin, I guess, but with just that, you think it's here to stay? Like, price wise, what's it?
Is Bitcoin's 40,000 here to stay?
Probably not. No, but outside, like, what do you think the lowest it can get back to? Obviously, zero
Bitcoin?
is like.
It won't go below 2,500.
Right.
And here's the reason why that is because there are what they call whales in the market, and the whales are the ones that control 10% of the market.
Well, and a lot of
market.
corporations are buying.
Correct.
A lot of Bitcoin.
Correct. There are, and nobody knows who they are either, because they all have their own, like, Bitcoin address, and so nobody knows who these big people are, which is kind of cool, because you can't necessarily give all the power to one person because you don't know who it is.
Right.
Now, they can have that power, but they can never publicize it unless they want to and say, like, oh, I own 90% of Bitcoin. The true founder of Bitcoin still has never been found.
That's what I was just going to say.
They don't know if it's actually a person or not. Like, what, Satoshi Nakamoto or something.
Yep.
I saw something where that was just a bunch of, like,
it
TV.
Probably is.
You remember, like, Zenith TVs, like TV brand names?
Yep.
It was a bunch of them, like, put together. It was like Motorola, like Nakamoto, like the Moto was from, like, Motorola. Naka was from, like, something. It was something else, but it was a bunch of, like, actual brand. Yes, I think so, actually. Yeah. I'm pretty sure. And it was from a bunch of, like, different brands that was just jumbled together that somebody had figured out. And it might be, it might not be, but
whoever you are, you're probably feeling pretty good right now.
He probably feels really good. She
unless he forgot his password.
Unless he forgot his $250 million password. That's when I would have a cow.
I don't know what I would do.
I'd cry.
I'd
absolutely cry.
And see, I don't know, like, literally, like, what can you do? You just better hope you get it right in the next 2 guesses.
You literally, and that's why it's a double standard of, like, it's really, really good and it's really, really bad. Because if you forget your password, you're literally plumb out of luck.
Mm-hmm. And that's where I think, so they're talking about the possibility of, and they don't know who or what yet, but the idea of blockchain social media, where it would be good and bad, right? So everything you would ever post, there would be no censorship, there would be no regulation, though.
Right.
Everything you ever post would be up there. And everyone's like, well, that would kind of suck, because if you're 16, posting, and then you're going to run for president, well, it's there. But at the same argument, everything everyone has ever posted would be there. So whoever's going to come at you really they either have to have like the cleanest slate ever. Yeah. Or you can be like, dude, we were 16. Like, it'd be like real life again, where it's like, we were 16, like, I
have a little bit of leeway.
There'd be a little bit of good and bad from it, I think. But the idea of it's like interesting, where really no one would own it. It would just be,
And that's why with each crypto, there's only a specific amount of circulating supply. There is no like unlimited amount. Like with stocks, there's usually there's not an unlimited amount, but there's a lot to buy in a company. With this, there's only a certain amount of circulating supply, and it's going down and down each day. And once they're gone, they're gone. You can't buy anymore. Yeah. So, and that's it'll never necessarily like run to zero, right? Because everybody's trading it in and out every day.
Well, is that with now? How does that work with? I know with Bitcoin, they stopped. They would make X amount every so often.
Yeah. So the reason that like the Bitcoin bull run happened is because Bitcoin forked. What a fork is it literally deletes some of that supply so that it gains value, and that's good. And it happened. Went to 20,000 or whatever the first time. Now it's at 45 because Bitcoin forked again last year. So now the supply has depleted twice. Yeah. So it'll keep doing that until all Bitcoins are owned.
Yeah, right.
And that might just be Bitcoin. Ripple has forked before too, and they're forking into like their own separate coin, which now if you own Bitcoin, you're going to get some of this other coin that they're working with too, and it'll have value as well. So essentially you're getting two coins that are, not valueless, but on paper they're they have value with them.
Right. And now I'm sure some people have heard of it. What about like how does the mining side of all this work?
Yeah, so mining kind of came and went.
Right.
Unless you have literally a shipping container.
Is it because of the price?
No, it's because it's not worth it. You'll mine for 3 hours, and mining for anybody that's not crypto savvy. Mining, you're not taking a pickaxe to like a computer. You're mining through like algorithms and stuff to gain.
You're basically
bits and pieces of coin.
It's hashing? Is that the correct?
Kind of.
And is it how the transactions like go through?
Yeah. So like you're mining like one coin. You'll get like a fourth of that coin.
You're basically using computing power to aid in the development of Bitcoin and the growth of it. So.
Yes. You need massive fans to keep everything cool. And I kid you not, you need a shipping container full of computers
literally
to do it. And you'll make like half a Bitcoin usually in a couple days, and it does pay for itself. But by the time you've used all the electricity to supply all the computers, it's not worth it,
right?
Because they use so much.
The upfront costs, getting it all,
and the upfront cost, buying the shipping container,
all those graphics cards that you're gonna need are gonna be.
And that's why there's not really many miners left.
And the depreciate, like, you could do it for a while, but those cards you're running them high, like very, very high speeds, very, very high, like at CPU, like
all times.
Right. They're just going to burn out. So not all the time, but you're going to have those repair costs. You're going to have to figure out what's going on here.
Right.
And so,
yeah.
So it used to be, you used to be able to do it pretty much just with one computer.
Yeah. And that's why I used to get DMs all the time for people that are like, come mine Bitcoin with me, send me 500 and I'll send you back 1,000. I'm like, that's not how that works. I was like, you'll send me back 1,000 maybe in like 4 years.
Yeah.
I was like, and then you're not going to know me. But I don't even get DMs from miners anymore because they've just all literally, they've handpicked out the ones that are garbage, and there's like maybe a select few.
Right. Yeah. No, I used to look into all this stuff all the time. Now I gaze, I peruse, but I've been all over the place. I can talk about anything, I think. I don't know. I try.
It's good to have a little bit of experience with everything.
But no, that's that's good. I liked, I'm very interested in the real estate stuff. I'm glad we talked about that. But yeah, I think we just got a lot of info out there, and that was good.
Mm-hmm. That was a lot of
closing remarks. Where do you want people to find you? What do you want them to? Obviously, guys, we're giving away $100 detailing.
Yes.
Is it a complete job or is it a gift card?
It'll be inside and out.
Okay.
It'll be inside and out. It's a certificate. It's for our basic $100 pack. You can find me on social media. You can follow me on Instagram at MarkCocca15. We also have a detailing page on Instagram as well, Cocca's Auto Detailing. You can find us on our Facebook, Cocca's Auto Detailing, only 5-star rated shop in the area. Come in. We'll take care of you. We'll get you cleaned up.
Well, thank you for coming.
Hey, thank you. That was a lot of fun.
Thank you for watching. And make sure you guys get entered into that giveaway. So how that's going to work, there will be a link in the description of this video. If you're on YouTube, there'll be a link in the header of the video. If you're on Facebook, link in bio. And wherever you find links on your social media, it'll be there. But you're going to have to click that. And then there'll be different ways to enter. So you can go follow Mark's page. That'll be an entry. You can come follow our page. You can listen to the podcast. That'll be an entry. So,
and how about we do this? If you get like, I don't know, how many entries did you get for your last one?
So it depends on how we do it. The last one though had like 2,000, but some things would be worth 5 entries. Some things would be worth 6. So it just depends. But yeah, what do you want to say?
If you can get up to 2,500 entries,
okay,
and we can get to like that threshold, I'll bump it up to $150 package.
All right,
and you'll get buff wax.
Oh,
so you get scratches and swirls taken out on the paint.
All right, so if we can get 150, if we can get 2,500 entries into this giveaway, and I think we can do it. We might be at 3,000.
I bet you we could.
So we'll see, but
maybe we'll bump it up if we get to 3,000.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll talk about
every 500. We'll
talk about it.
There's not $1,000 package, but
no, there's not. We'll cap it out at the 550
right
pack.
No, but yeah. So thanks again, Mark, for joining us.
Thank you so much. I had a lot of fun. Thanks everybody for listening.
Yeah, and if you listen to the whole thing, we appreciate you. You can always support us by buying some pre-workout. I'm going to turn into one of those guys.
There you go.
No, but it's always here. We wholesale it. We don't try to push it on you. So it's in shop. We don't like sell it and then make commission, whatever. But we have that. We also have our t-shirts that will be out next month. That'll be February. So make sure you're sticking around. We don't have any like graphics or anything for them yet. But I can make those so it doesn't take too long.
You can come get some Cocca's Auto Detailing apparel.
You could if you want to support Mark after you heard all of his wonderful info. You can go and buy a shirt, a hoodie.
We got hoodies, we got t-shirts, water bottles, working on sweats.
Yeah.
Socks maybe. Socks might be coming in.
Yeah.
I'm kind of excited about those.
Okay.
They're gonna have my number down the side of the sock. No, I'm just kidding. That's not gonna happen.
Oh, gosh.
But no, we're working on sweats. I got a great t-shirt lady. She's really, really cool. We're working on sweats. We got hats too.
Okay.
So if anybody's interested.
Cool. Well, if you're interested and you want to support him, go follow his pages. Go buy a t-shirt. If you want to support us and what we're doing with the podcast, you can also do that. We'll have podcast shirts, whatever. You can buy a KGP shirt until then. But stick around. February is going to be a great month. I know we've got 1 week, so I really haven't even told you guys who's coming on yet. I guess I can spill that to them. So, yeah, I think I can. I got to remember them now. So week 1, we're going to have Yarber the Barber. Do you know any? Do you know? You do know? Yeah. So we're gonna have Yarber the Barber. Gonna come in and talk about some cutting hair, a little bit of everything else, just like you.
That'll be fun.
He's got his motorcycle. I'm sure we'll talk about that.
That'll be a lot of fun.
So, oh gosh, there we go. So we'll have Yarber on. So stay tuned for that. That'll be February 2nd, I believe, is the first Tuesday in February. Then we'll have Jalil Carter. Do you know Jalil?
I do know Jalil.
See, we're just gonna
Jalil's another realtor in the area.
Yeah,
he'll be a lot of fun.
Right,
he'll keep it lively.
Oh yeah. So we'll have those two. Oh gosh, I'm gonna forget him. Jordan Spence.
I don't know that one.
Jordan is a youth minister in Kalis, which is a very small town.
Okay.
It's known for its church and bar. That's it.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
So, but
one of two things.
So he'll be on. He works with kids and positioning them into careers and everything. So he'll have a lot of good info on that. And then, oh no, I'm going to forget the fourth one. And this is editor Caleb again. Yeah, so after stuttering about who was my fourth guest for about 4 minutes, I determined I could not figure out who it was until after the episode was over. Mr. Adam Calvert, I am intensely sorry. I would have cut that completely if it was anybody else, but it's kind of funny, but it's also kind of sad. So Adam Calvert will be our fourth guest. He'll be our week 4 guest for February. So look forward to that, and we'll go back to your regularly scheduled broadcast. Thank you. Yeah, we appreciate our first month of podcasts. That's 4 of them, 4 a month. I don't know. I don't think there might be one month where there's 5, right? If there's a 5
On a
Tuesday.
leap year.
Right. Yeah. Whatever. However, that was last year. Last year was a leap year, and
I forgot about that.
No one even really noticed.
I don't think anybody needed to notice.
But again, we'll get out of here. We'll let you go. Thanks, Mark.
Hey, thank you. It was a lot of fun.
Make sure you guys are supporting us so we can do more of this, bring more people in.
Absolutely.
Now, turn me off, please. Thank you.
Thanks.
Bye. Get out.